Are you guys aware that we almost see no titties in movies anymore? And we only see titties. Hey, anybody notice this? Yes, I love titties. Big old titties.
You know what's really
funny? You know. Well, I just caught the fact that like when you're talking about on that stream when you're like, I like titties, right?
Yeah.
The voice in the background that yells, "Big old titties." That's me.
Really? Oh yeah.
Because I was on the end of that panel. I'm yelling big old titties.
Yeah. You were sitting, I think, to my left. And yeah, dude, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
Dude, that was amazing. It was good to meet you all, you guys, and just like hang out in person and like just. I mean, seriously, everybody who was there, like we were instant bros, you know. Everybody who was at Metsuri was a great time. So
yeah, except you towered over everybody, and it made me feel very inadequate.
Well, you're all manlets, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all right. It's all right. You know, we have different strengths. We have different strengths. You know,
mine are just shoulders and chest. Nick is nose, and yours is high.
What legs? Yeah, no.
So, dude, welcome. We scheduled this forever ago, and I've been waiting patiently.
Yes,
for it, dude. So, I'm sure you've heard about Fight Milk, and I'm sure
I have.
So we
I was a massive It's Always Sunny fan. Like I binge watch. That was my go-to get drunk and watch something show. Was always It's Always Sunny. Always made me feel better. Now I will say, as the seasons went on, it did drop a lot in quality. Like the OG stuff, you know, when you go back to like Wild Card, you know, stuff like that. That was the good shit. That was what I'll go back and I'll still watch that if I really want to. Yeah. But the new stuff, they got a little too scared of being edgy and they kind of backed off, I think.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm glad you actually get the reference. You might be the only person so far that has got the reference. But yeah, so we're gonna do.
I mean, we don't have any. You know, here's the thing. I'm in Asia, so like we can find a lot of weird shit. Like I can eat a lot of animals that you cannot eat. Let me just be clear. But I don't think there's crow on the menu. I have not found crow yet. But if I do find crow, I will let you know, Camelot.
I've done it with quail eggs, but they're really little and it's not as good. Like they need to be fat. Yeah. Maybe an ostrich egg one time. That'd be fun.
Oh, ostrich would be cool. That'd be like a unique fight milk. That'd be like the stretch goal fight milk.
Yeah, dude. But we will be doing Fight Milk, everybody in the chat. So keep that in your minds. I do want to thank Shani for being the first and second super chat of the stream with the ducks. Tig old biddies. Love having you here. Legal mindset. Thank you so much, Shani. We love you. You're beautiful. Get the hell on it, dog on it. And Unsung Hero. I'm gonna come. Don't come. Don't come. Oh, I'm gonna come, bro. Dude, that's me. That's my whole life. It's like it's 27 seconds in, and they're like, "Don't."
I'm gonna come.
Oh, it's too late.
Do you just give up after that? Like you just like you just wave it in. You're like, look, listen, like I'm just leaving now. Like I'll leave the money on the table. Don't worry. But
okay, so this one time, man, and I'll keep it really short. But I had this girl over, and it was like right after my wife had left, and it was like exciting. And she was so attractive, man. And, you know, everybody was kind of drinking, and I had been waiting patiently for hours. And then I inserted and it was over. And I was like, I'll be right back.
That's it.
And I went to the bathroom and sat there on the toilet in shame for 30 minutes. And I'm like, man, what did I just do? I just ruined everything. And then I went back and then I double tapped like in Zombieland, and it was fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you 30 minutes, you got that. That's some time right there. You can definitely 30 minutes is a cool down. That's why you throw in the shower in there. You know, you throw in the little bit of your cunning linguist skills, right? You know,
yeah, dude, it's like a World of Warcraft. I had like a 30-minute cooldown, then we can cast it again.
Skill recharge. Yeah.
That was the worst one. Yeah, that was the only time that had ever been that extreme. I mean, I've been like 3 pumps. 30 seconds, but that was like there wasn't even a pump. There was nothing.
Yeah, it's all about the build up, right? You know, if there's been a long build up, it's like, all right, but if it's something that's like, spearing a caged tiger, that's not what you want.
It's so warm and slippery. That's all it took. I was like, he's like, it's so slippery.
This is so much better than the towel, Yeah.
Holy Ozone says legal mindset likes titties. Very cool.
Yes, I do love them titties, despite being in Asia. A lot of people, that's the biggest thing people make about Asia. They say, oh, Asia, no, you don't have any titties in Asia. That is very wrong. I've seen actually larger titties in Asia than even I've seen in the US for two reasons. Number one, they're drinking milk. Maybe not fight milk, but they're drinking milk. Number two, plastic surgery. And listen, I got nothing against the Camelot. We want to go out there and get yourself some giant ass titties. You got the money, you got the means. As long as they look good, you go out and you do whatever you want, girl.
Dude,
it'll work anyway.
They can catch these sucks all day. I don't care what they look like, really. As long as I can fit my mouth around it, I don't care, man. Like, just that's what that's just what it's like. But no, speaking of Asia, so I was watching this show called Alice in Borderland.
Oh yeah, I need to watch that one. They made me in Korea verify my age. I had to go in and put my resident number, like essentially your Korean social security number, just to watch that. I haven't got to watch it yet.
So there's this like a part of the first season where there's just a bunch of Japanese people. Like they're just a lot of them in one place, and they're all like in like bikinis, and every single girl is so little and like has no ass or hips and no boobies, and every guy is like so frail. And there's one guy that's supposed to be like the buff guy, and he's literally just slightly taller and not even buff. He's just not skinny.
In the show, so the casting was
like throwing people like they're footballs and they're flying, and I'm like, he's not even muscular. He's just not skinny. Basically.
No. But you gotta watch. You gotta watch if you want to watch one and you see jacked Asians. Physical 100. That show is actually fucking good. And for competition shows, that one is on point. Physical 100. It's a Korean competition to find out who's the strongest, and it's incredibly based. Like it is very cool. There's stuff they do in that show that they would never do in America because it would get them canceled immediately.
Ooh, that sounds sexy. Kara says, can't stay sadly. Have a fantastic night. Thank you so much, Karis. We love you. We appreciate you. You're goated as hell. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Appreciate you guys so much. I watched that and I don't know. It seems like the acting and the emotions can get a little over the top. I seem to prefer like Korean movies and shows. It seems like they're more leveled when it comes to emotional stuff. Because sometimes, like they're in Japanese, I don't know.
Well, Korea does overact. They'll do the thing where like something happens and they'll go, "Wah!" Like they'll just have this overreaction. But that being said, I will say the thing about Korea that they have going now is they've kind of figured out the template for good TVs and movies.
Yeah.
And because the West is so woke, because everything that's coming out of Hollywood is just political, all they have to do is make good stories, shoot them decently. And even if they're fucking subtitled, people don't care. People are checking out of Western media and they're watching things like, Japanese films, Korean films, and anime, right? Anime is boomed because nobody wants to watch American cartoons. Nobody wants to watch that crap they're putting out there in the US.
Yeah, it's been really good, especially so I watched Train to Busan, and it was one of the better zombie movies that exist. It's in my top 3, and they didn't overdo it. So there's this one scene in that Borderlands show where something happens that's like kind of sad, and the main actor is like screaming hysterically because he's in pain, and I can take like 2 of the screams and like showing flashbacks intertwined, but he does it for like 4 solid minutes and he's just screaming, and he screams like 37 times. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to move the scene along because just over and over. I'm like, all right, move the scene along. I get it. He's in pain, and I'm also was in pain until I got really awkward. So yeah, thank you, Michael Cortez, by the way. It's like the Wings. It was funny with Sean Ranklin and Liquid Richard, but the new trolls create fake accounts and they took away his trip partnership. Those sons of bitches.
Oof.
Danny with the first pink boy tax.
Nice.
For missing the last few streams, be sure to keep educating your guests on the Ducks. Love you, codes. Also reach a year on our Snapchat streak score.
Okay. Whoa. You got to explain this to me because I there's always some inside baseball, right?
Yeah.
Break it down. Give me the education here.
So Shani came over to my house like last year. Okay. And I had a party, like a get together with my mods, and she left all these rubber ducks all around my house. You can see them back there. Little yellow guy.
I see them.
I had one right here, but my dog ate it. But yeah, left them everywhere. And then it started this thing where everybody kept freaking just super chatting ducks like emojis. And it used to say duck, but I turned off. I use StreamYard now, but I do need to apply one because I have like fart noises for some reason, but I don't have the duck noise. So Shani, I love you and I appreciate you. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Yeah, don't watch Train to Busan 2. Yeah, Train to Busan 1's goated. Train to Busan 2 has nothing
Yeah,
to do.
and like I said, Squid Games was amazing, but we'll see about Squid Games 2. Like, I'll give you my honest review. I'm not gonna, call it. I mean, a lot of these times when they make the sequel, whether it's the US or anywhere else, they don't really want to make the sequel. They just are told, hey, this made a lot of money. You'll make at least a portion of this. And even if it makes half, that's still a ton of money. So that's what they think about sequels.
Shani says, tell him why you got duck flooded. I kept calling her Shabby instead of Shani.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I thought it sounded cute. I was being cutesy.
Yeah, it's like a cat, like a shabby flirty. Cat. Yeah,
she got real mad and like destroyed my house. Thank you, Matt himself. I see you. Fight Milk must and will be met for the boys. Thank you, Matt himself, over on Rumble. I appreciate you, dude. So, dude, yeah. So, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here, man. Been looking forward to this one for a long ass time.
Yeah,
and,
brother.
There's one thing I want to cover because I'm very uneducated about it, and I want to get more educated.
Yes.
So, Sydney Watson. Sydney Watson.
Yes. Oh, I know of her, right? I know of her. I don't think she will ever stream with me after what I've had to say about her, but
I don't really hold any opinions on it. I've talked to her in the past. She's always been really nice to me. But I want to know what exactly is the lawsuit about and what pertains to it and what's going on. Just like if you can explain to a layman ass dumb redneck trailer park man.
Sure. Oh, absolutely, because that's generally the people I deal with is lame ass trailer park redneck men. I love them. I fucking love them. So listen, so look, and here's the thing. We got to separate Sydney Watson and also Eliza Schaefer from the lawsuit. First of all, just before I say anything about this, Eliza Schaefer is not actually a party to the lawsuit. Let me say this one more time.
Okay.
Eliza Schaefer is not in the lawsuit. So this is not Sydney Watson versus Eliza Schaefer. It's Sydney Watson versus Blaze Media. Right. Yeah. So the parent company, this is a workplace suit. This has nothing to do with whether or not he is guilty of sexual harassment or assault or anything else. Right. There's no crimes that are being charged against Eliza Schaefer. So to be clear, she's proved nothing and showing nothing and not suing Elijah. So a lot of people, when they get into talking about this lawsuit, they immediately get Team Elijah or Team Sydney.
Right.
Right. But technically, it's Sydney versus the Blaze. Right. And moreover, it's frankly working in the workplace with females versus complete segregation of the workplace. That's how I'm going to break this down. So let me just clarify what happened here. So Sydney Watson, now she said some things that I liked. I mean, she was on that Vice panel with, I think, Pearl, and there's a bunch of crazy feminists that were coming at her when she was just trying to have a conversation.
I think, yes. I think Andrew died for a second. I'll see if he comes back. Yeah, which if you guys haven't seen that Vice panel, it's fantastic, by the way. The Vice panel with Sydney Watson was really good. The only issue is the women on the panel sucked. And like whenever anybody said anything that might be like a point, like a good point, the women would just laugh really loudly and cackle.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you go. Hey, you're back.
Yeah. Hey, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. The North Koreans are trying to mess with my internet connection, obviously. Those bastards. All right. So look, what happened here is that, despite she saying some things one way or another, she filed this claim. And this is a sexual, a workplace, a sexual discrimination and religious discrimination lawsuit. So she is alleging that her workplace, Blaze Media, is discriminating against her on the basis of sex and religion. Now, let's be very clear. Let's start with the religion because it's a little easier. She's an atheist.
Yeah. So
the first question is, and this is a big debate. People had this debate in my chat. I've talked about other lawyers. Can atheists be discriminated against? And obvious the answer is yes, right?
Right. Yeah.
But how would you? So if you were thinking about how an atheist would be discriminated against, what are some ways that you would think they would be discriminated against? Can you give me an example of how an atheist might be discriminated against?
I guess it depends on discriminated against. Maybe not getting promotions, or maybe getting a different pay, or not being paid at all, or hired based on being not religious, and people at the company may be more religious than not religious, right?
Right. So like if you had a position, that's a pretty good one. So if you're going to work at a church, right? Yeah. You understand going in, this is a religious position. But if it's a secular position, if it's something that's in a company, right? It's Camelot Inc., right? Yeah. And all you do is titties and ass. And all of a sudden, when you join Camelot Inc., you've got to become a Pastafarian, right?
Yeah.
You've got to subscribe to whatever, the Cult of Cthulhu,
Yeah.
right? And that's not disclosed. It's not obvious. It's something they're requiring you. That could violate an atheist's rights. Atheists do not have to be forced into a religion. They don't have to be forced into religious practices if that was not a material term of their employment contract, right? So that's what I was expecting to see here. Like, they forced her to be a Christian. They forced her to pray. Here's what it was.
Right.
Her whole argument is that, and I'm not kidding, is that the chat and sometimes Elijah, but more the chat, makes fun of her for being an atheist. I'm not kidding.
Right.
Because this is all based around her time on You Are Here, which is a YouTube show, just like right now. People in the chat, right? They can bust your balls about anything. My chat busts my balls most of all. They're already sending me memes over on Locals.
That is true, man. They make fun of my calves. They call me gay, which is true.
Yeah.
They call me.
I mean, all these things are facts.
Yes, of course. It's more truth. That's why it hurts so much. Obviously. Thank you, Unsung Hero.
Yeah. I mean, and I love it. I mean, I've got like the memes folder, you know, which is absolutely perfect. But that being said, the chat was mean to her. And because the chat was mean, she thinks that, and they said mean things about her being an atheist, that hurt her feelings, and she's suing her employer for 1.25 million, I believe, or 275 million.
Right.
So $1.25 million she wants for that. Right. Yeah. Now that's the religious side. That's kind of simple. And so I don't believe that they actually did anything. They didn't force her to become any religion. So I dismissed that one pretty offhand.
Right. The
second one, and this is the bigger one, and this is where Nick gets involved. Nick is actually involved in this case. His name is in the complaint.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So Nicholas Rekieta, and you can watch my video, the Nick Rekieta deposition. If he goes to court, first of all, they're going to play my stream. Second of all, you see exactly what his positions are on this, and you get that all up front. But the biggest thing is they say that Elijah Schaefer, who was at the time an employee of Blaze, according to Sydney, was being misogynist, was bringing on misogynist guests. Now, he says specifically that Jack Murphy and Nick Fuentes are misogynists. He names those people. But then she says there were other misogynist guests, and the only other guest she names is Nick. I also brought on Rollo. I know Rollo Tomasi. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I brought on Rollo. He was on You Are Here. I brought on Nick. And I'm like, you guys are the only other misogynists I know. So what was your relationship like with Sydney? Like, were you guys calling her, a 304? Were you calling her, like telling her she belongs to the streets? What was going on? And both of those guys said absolutely not. And they went there to the studio. They said, there was no animosity. There was no hatred. There was no hatred towards women on the set, right? There was nothing there, right? So they didn't see any misogyny there. So Sydney goes on to say that because the chat was mean to her because she's a woman, right? And because, here's a great one, because they drank on stream. Not kidding you. Drinking on stream is apparently misogynist.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where that fits into it. Yeah. I was just, man, I was curious and
crazy, right?
Because I've been hearing about it for so long, but I haven't heard of why. Like I've heard of small reasons. Like I heard the religious thing, but I didn't know the examples or the parameters around it. And I heard of the misogynist thing, but I also didn't hear about the parameters around it. So I was really confused on what was really happening. And I've talked to Sydney in the past, and I didn't want to, ask her about it because it's probably stressful anyway. So I was like, I ain't gonna ask her about it. But yeah. So has there been any developments as of right now, or is it just like been filed?
It's still pre-suit phase, right? Yeah. We're still pre-suit, so we're not there yet where we're at suit level. So, but it's been filed, and most of these cases, to be honest, I was in-house counsel. Most of these things settle, so she's probably going for a settlement here. But absolutely, the frame she's taking here, if this thing is allowed to go through, pretty much men and women can't stream together, right? The other thing too is the relationship between you as a streamer and a parent company. So that would mean, for example, that Rumble is responsible for Nick Rekieta, for Steven Crowder, for all these people. But we all know that's a contractor relationship. You're a contractor. They're providing stuff for you. You can kind of do what you want within the parameters.
Yeah.
Right. So it really has a lot of ramifications, frankly. And even for Jeremy, the quartering, I know he streams with Sydney now. make one false step and you're going to catch that case. And frankly, I don't want to live in a world where I can't stream with women, right? I think that's ridiculous. But it's kind of setting up that precedent where like streamers are going to have to be completely separate, maybe only do guest appearances with each other because they're going to be held responsible. It's actually pretty bad. And there's other stuff in there. For example, people are saying I'm not mentioning everything. Of course, there's stuff like accusing him of talking about penises and gay sex and all that other stuff. Once again,
damn, I talk about that all the time.
Yeah, I don't want to drop the hard P, but once again, is it per se misogyny? I mean, if that's the case, then I've definitely committed workplace hostility towards Anna, towards all the other ladies who've been on my chat. All these ladies are going to end up suing me after this.
Yeah, I told Zia I asked Zia to take her shirt off in my stream.
Yeah, that is per se harassment there, Camelot.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Like I said, I don't really have a big opinion on it. I probably should dive into it a little bit harder.
Well, I'm going based on the complaint. And I think a lot of people who have a strong feeling about this, they're going based off how they feel about Sydney, whether you're simping for Sydney or whether you're backing Elijah, you're bros with Elijah, they're going emotionally. And I'm just saying the complaint itself, what she filed. And by the way, this is a conservative, but this is a feminist complaint. It is a hard left complaint. It'll push us into a world where men and women literally cannot work together. And people think I'm being hyperbolic. I'm being dead serious. If this is allowed to go, what's going to happen is shyster lawyers like myself, right? Actually, I was never that type of lawyer. I did property law. I never did workplace litigation.
Yeah.
But lawyers are going to sue because it works. They're going to say, "Oh, this is what we do," and workplaces are eventually just going to change their policy. That's what they also do. When I was in house, if you see a lot of suits, what do? You change your policies. Okay, we're going to hire men and women, but men work in this building and women work in this building, and we never let the two mix. Now, because we cannot have that happen. It's too much of a liability.
That might lead to more productivity, though.
Well, it'll lead to two things. There's actually been some studies on this. So the men will get a lot of stuff done. The women will end up fighting. So it'll just be cat fights, hair pulled. It'll be a disaster.
So I actually I'll speak to that in two seconds. Shani says, taking a moment to honor Eric Stone's dad. We love you, dude. Duck, 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 heart, heart, heart. We love you, Eric Stone. I have been reading the chat. I love you, dude. He's always here. He trolls me a lot in good faith. I love you, Eric Stone, and we're thinking about you. Shanny, thank you again for being so damn pink boyish in honor of Eric. I love you. One red boy from the Rainbow Knot. Thank you so much. Unsung Zero, hey, her, Sarah, and Saf sticking it to the blaze. Patrick T says, claimed that she was uncomfortable for her atheist status. There's no evidence that atheists exist. Good luck with that. By the way, how about a little Marie Antoinette harassment? What do you want me to harass Anna for telling her to get naked? I've told her. Damn it, Patrick. God, she has her DMs are open, Patrick. Go on, get on it, doggone it.
She's open. I mean, she will make fun of you in another's DM, but it's all right. Yeah. It's all right. It's all good.
But you were talking about it a second ago. And there was actually a lady, so she was like a strong feminist, and she was like the CEO of a company. And it was a successful company that she built up. So she was like, I'm going to, prove a point and hire only females. So she.
Yes, that's the one. That's the study. That's literally it right there where they looked at that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So she got rid of the men and she had only women. And it was great for a short period of time. But then the women started becoming more gossipy and less productive. And there was a point where nothing was happening. Like no one was getting anything done because the women were just fighting amongst themselves and talking around the water cooler about gossip around the office. So they were like, okay, so this is getting bad. So they hired, I think it was a handful of men. And then
one or two guys. Yeah.
It got even worse because all the women were fighting desperately over the men's attention.
And the one or two men, because the ratio was off. Yeah.
And the company ended up going bankrupt within 12 months of that. And it was profitable before this happened. So that's the big study. And this lady is no longer like a feminist. She
got red pilled. And that's actually there's two types of ladies who end up getting red pilled. The ones who end up in business and they see those things and they fail because of that.
Yeah.
Or the ladies with 3 boys. If you have 2 or 3 boys, like 2 or 3 sons, you get really red pilled. And no daughters, right? 0 daughters, 2 or 3 sons, because you start to try to think of your sons and you see what's happening to your sons. And a mom who's got those sons is really protective. She's like, Who are these girls my son is dating, right? You know, who are these, you know, what's happening to him in the workplace? And they get based real quick.
Yep.
Those moms, they get it. They understand.
They'll slap you around, dude. They're feisty as hell. And
yeah.
Unhung Hero says, how do you separate gender when we can't even define gender? That's a great point.
That's the hilarious thing, right? That's the hilarious thing is that, you know, as these laws progress, you know, you're going to say, oh, well, there can't be discrimination because I'm the same gender, right? I've just declared myself as a woman. So what is this woman on woman discrimination? Not possible. In fact, I think you're discriminating against me. And you just jujitsu it back at them, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the way you defend anything. I saw an interview recently, and it was a guy talking about, you know, he was out on the street interviewing college students.
Yeah.
And he posed this question to this like white college girl, because it's always a white college girl, man.
Always. The problems in society are the white college girls. 100%.
Exactly. Yeah. So he asked her this question, and she's like, I think that's, you know, even you asking that question comes from a place of privilege and bigotry because you're a white male. And he's like, why are you assuming I'm a white male? And she's like, what? And he's like, I'm actually a female. And she was like, oh, and you can see the look on her face because she knows she's getting trolled, right? But she says, oh, well, then I respect your decision to be, you know, a woman, and I apologize for misgendering you. And you could tell that she knew she was getting trolled, but she had to say it, I guess. Yeah. And it was hilarious because it goes back to, you know, talking about white privilege. Like that one, there was this Asian girl. This was like a week ago on Twitter. This Asian girl was talking to this guy, and he was like saying that, well, you know, I come from a place of privilege, because he was like, you know, he's a college white kid. And he's like, I come from a place of privilege, you know. And
talking to an Asian, like an East Asian girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she
was clear about, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. She was like, oh, well, you know, why are you assuming I have privilege? Like, I'm happy. My parents are together. I'm really successful. Like, I have money. And like, why are you assuming this? And she was like, can you give me an example of what privilege you have over me? And he was like, no, not really. And then he cracks immediately. He's like, honestly, I just say that so people don't get mad at me. And I'm like, oh my God.
Boom. But that's it though. But that's it. But that's exactly it. You gotta go to confession. You gotta bend the knee. And the funny thing is, if you really think about it, it's like, actually, you know, especially with an East Asian, by the way, East Asians are strategically white when they need to be made white and like removed from people of color. But then all of a sudden, when they can weaponize it, when there's like one crime that like one white guy, you know, says something mean to an Asian girl somewhere, they'll immediately publicize that, but they'll ignore the fact that if you look at most crimes against Asians, it's actually POC. It's actually people in New York and San Francisco of a particular persuasion that are committing almost all of the anti-Asian crimes in the U.S.
What are you trying to say, Andrew? I don't know. What are you trying to say right now?
I'm trying to say there's a reason why they stopped publishing the race of the perpetrators. They actually came out and said that. They said we are not publishing that anymore. It's like, well, there you go.
It's like that. It's
like by the way, people here know though, because I'm in Korea. I traveled to Japan a lot. I had you know, when I was in been in Thailand a lot. I've come around, talked to people of all backgrounds. I was in Singapore, China, so Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean, Japanese, Thai, whatever. Yeah. They all know the truth. They know where the problems are. They know exactly who's committing the problem. They know, even though the media is hiding it. They know because they talk to each other, and they're like, "We know where not to go. We know who's the problem."
Yeah. It's hilarious to watch. It's like it reminds me of the body cam thing. So like there was a certain city, there's a bunch of cities and a bunch of states that have this in like place now, but one in particular, you know, every single police officer had to have a body cam, right? And it went probably, there was like a year, like 12-month period, and it got to the end of it, and that city or the media for the city, I can't remember, they actually had to go back on it because they said, the fact that we have this body cam footage, if people see it, it will make people more prejudiced. And it's like, what do you mean it will make people more prejudiced? I'm confused. What does that mean? And you're not allowed to say it, and that's fine, dude. I get it. Like I
know, I understand. I understand why. And by the way, it is wrong to label everybody of any race, right? It is wrong to label everybody as something. However, you can say it is statistically significant that this group happens to have this thing that happens more, right? Yeah. Like if you said white people happen to own more guns, nobody's going to blink an eye at that. They're going to be like, yeah, that's right, and they'll try to paint that into a bad thing. By the way, but. You know, if I said, for example, the urban areas in America have 99% of the crime in America, right? people will start to call me a racist and a horrible person.
Yeah, I've
real
noticed
quick.
that. I've noticed it for years that you can't quote stats for like Census Bureau stats or the FBI stats around certain crimes,
and they're their own stats. We're literally just quoting the stats that exist. Like, this is what they are literally saying, and we're just saying them, but saying them is racist to actually to just speak the fact of the statistic that the government puts out, which, by the way, they massage that already, right? They already gained that statistic. But so even just stating the thing they've already gained is not acceptable.
Yeah, and the issue is it's not. I don't even think it's not really a race issue entirely. It's just a poverty issue, and it's densely populated area. You know, it's a densely populated area that's just going ham because there's places. Dude, I live in a place called Huntsville, Alabama. Not in Huntsville, but I live on one of the surrounding cities. And it's
how big is Huntsville? Because I've never been to Huntsville, to be honest.
I think it's pretty large as far as the city goes, but it takes like 25 minutes to drive from one side to the other, 30 minutes. But it's got, I think, 400,000 or 500,000 people now. But it's increasing exponentially, right? So the property values are freaking skyrocketing. But it's an extremely, extremely diverse city. It's one of the most diverse cities in the state, and there's almost no.
Because you got Huntsville's got that rocket stuff going on there, right? Like it's got all that like high tech stuff going on there.
Every single corporate office, Boeing is here. Amardec, Dynetics, the other one that makes Hellfire missiles that take out everybody in the Middle East. It's got all those home bases are here, and it's a diverse city, and there's not much crime. And actually the median for the city is like $70,000 a year. So it's a higher paid city, and less people in poverty, and there's not much crime. Like there's like petty shit, but as far as like violent crime, it's on the lower of the bigger cities in Alabama.
Look, you don't have to. Diversity does not mean necessarily that there's going to be crime. I was just in Singapore, right? Singapore is a crazy diverse city, super diverse. I was there. I walked into Little India. I literally felt like I was in fucking Delhi. It was insane. Like it smelled like India, if you know what I'm talking about. But you know what? The crime level is near zero. Right, it's near zero, right? You got Malays there, you got Indians, you got Chinese, you got everybody there, right? You got expats there, you got people of all different races. Literally zero crime, right? But it's the approach you're taking to the enforcement of crime. It's your culture that you build, right? And your sense of oneness. And the problem is that in America, we keep driving, and especially the powers that be are driving us apart, right? Like when I say, what are the common values of Americans? I think when I was a kid, I could get people to agree to those. I could say, all right, we believe in freedom, democracy, capitalism, freedom of speech, free elections, all that. People don't even agree about those basic issues anymore. I talk about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. People don't even believe in that anymore. That's gone.
Well, freedom of speech is actually like a far right idea now somehow. That's weird how that happened. Everything changed really because it
flipped.
You know,
remember, you're my age, right? You're my age. You're around. Yeah, I'm 36. So we're in the same cohort, right? So you remember back when we were in middle school, maybe early high school, when there was the war on video games?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
That was the conservative right. That was the religious right.
Yeah.
Now it's flipped. Right?
Yep.
The censorship has gone the other way, and that's the weird thing for me. And they kind of lost me there. That's where they really lost me, is when the left, who was supposed to be this open, let it happen, kind of hippy dippy shit, is become the jackboot Nazis. Like it's a weird flip.
Yeah, it's weird because when I was probably the things that I generally believe now, I generally believed 10 years ago, right? And just 10 years ago, the small things I believed 10 years ago are now used to be center lean left. So I used to I was a liberal. Like I consider myself socially liberal. I consider myself liberal in all beliefs. And just keeping that same belief system and same structure that I have then, now it makes me like almost far right. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I tell people get mad at me for saying this, but the first time when I was a young kid, back in the day, I voted for Obama the first time. People get really mad about this. The first time I voted for Obama, I think a lot of people did. They believed the shit. They wanted to be optimistic. They said, look, let's try something different. And he screwed us all. Right. And I learned the lesson, and I said, okay, now I know politicians are full of shit. They don't follow through with anything they talk about. Right. I got it red pilled on that. Right. You need to learn a lesson. I learned the lesson. Right. But the same values, same core values are still valuable to me. It's just one side has completely abandoned them, and they've turned into this thing that I don't like. I don't like when anybody tells me what to do. If someone tells me to do something, I'm like, you know what? F you. I'm not doing that.
I'm the same way. I'm like, you know what? If you tell me, because if I go back to the vaccine deal, man, when it started rolling around, I was like, okay, well, when I decide to travel in the middle of the year, I'll go ahead and get vaccinated for that. And then it became like this: if you don't get vaccinated, you should be killed and put in prison. And then as soon as that shit's been happening, and people would jump in my chat, calling me a murderer and shit, I was like, well, never get vaccinated.
People were saying that in your chat. They were calling you a murderer.
Yeah, dude.
At least my chat never went there. I will say thank you guys in my chat, by the way. My locals chat. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all over there. Although I appreciate you guys more if you're tipping more. If you guys want me to get on the Fight Milk train, you guys are going to need to start tipping in that locals chat. I'm watching you.
Jung Wong says that's the price of freedom. People are free to do bad things. Do you really want Singapore here with zero freedom? Yeah.
See, here's the thing, you guys. A lot of people have, John. I don't know whether you've been there or not, but a lot of people who talk about zero freedom abroad have never actually traveled abroad. Have never actually been abroad. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because even though a lot of other countries, on paper, you might say the United States on paper has the most rights. On paper, here's the problem. In practice, we are losing our rights faster than ever. There are other countries with draconian laws that are more free in your day-to-day life. And what matters? Does it matter if it's on paper in theory, or does it matter if in real life you are being locked up for freedom of speech, Second Amendment, for all these things that are your rights on paper, but if you exercise them, you're thrown in jail? What's more free? Or a country where you can go about day to day, nobody bothers you, nobody talks about wokeness, nobody does, you just go about your life, you do your things, and that's it, right? And even things that are illegal, people talk about, oh, well, what about drugs? I'm like, think about America, right? A pot was illegal in America for the longest time. But did people smoke pot? Yeah, of course they fucking did. Yeah, of course they did. So just because something's illegal in a country does not necessarily mean that people aren't doing it. They're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's wild, dude. And what's even more wild is to see stuff like people get arrested and charged for social media posts, right? In the UK, they get arrested and charged and put in prison for saying something, against a politician, or just saying anything, or misgendering somebody. That's probably a bad example. Misgendering. Not even, like literally, we're talking like J.K. Rowling level here, where she doesn't acknowledge the T's, right? She's close to being locked up in the UK. That's close to a hate crime over there. It's wild, and you can kind of see that thing starting to roll around here, and it's a little weird.
The U.S. is probably the last bastion, because we have like the kind of the based outlets that are kind of holding out against that insanity. But Canada, RIP Canada, RIP Australia, RIP New Zealand, RIP UK, the Commonwealth cucks. Sorry guys, you guys are going down that stream faster than ever. And by the way, that's why I started my second channel. I just started my second channel, Go East, gentlemen, for guys who are looking to come over here and get visas and stuff like that, just to give them information. Because I'm a lawyer, and moving over here, even for me as a lawyer, was hard because there's a lot of information. So I'm helping people walk through that if they're interested in coming. If they're not, whatever, it's not the content for you. But if you are, check out my second channel, guys.
Yeah, what that reminds me of, speaking of the UK thing, is the fact that anybody that was caught on social media or in person protesting the trucker thing in Canada, they got their bank accounts frozen and locked.
Oh yeah,
it's wild, and they were just people standing around. It's just wild, man. And they sick dogs on their asses too. That was also
no, and they tried to freeze their Bitcoin. Like, I mean, these people went crazy. They went insane, dude.
Yeah,
they went insane. And why? Because they were exercising their freedom of speech. That's why you got to lock them down.
Yeah, it goes back to the book that I always reference, and it's called Ordinary Men. And it's when it's a book about how Nazis became so atrocious. And basically people would, like, these soldiers that were like entry Nazis or like captains or whatever, they weren't even instructed to do these certain atrocities. They just did it because they thought they were pleasing their superiors, and they did it through their own volition. And they were afraid to go against the grain or be killed. And I know that's a more extreme example, but it is a book.
Even though they're the ones doing the killing, they're afraid of other people killing them, which by the way, most of them, right?
And that's the point. That's the whole point, is people are worried about tweeting out something, or people are worried about saying something when they're like, you know what? I don't really like that a 6'1" swimmer lady just kicked everybody's ass. That's a little weird. And then, but
yeah, that doesn't seem fair, right? It doesn't seem fair that, by the way, Zuby's going to come to America now and break every powerlifting record ever, right? There's going to be hey, you could do it, Camelot. You could make that meme happen. You could be strong woman from South Park.
105 pounds is how much my normal bench is over the women's world record in my weight class right now.
You're 105 over the weight. You got to break it. I mean, like literally, like somebody's got to get in there and just shatter the record because they can no longer deny you. All you got to do is say you're a woman, and boom, you're in.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were talking about with that kid that was talking to the Asian lady at the college. It's basically it goes back to that book. I was just following orders. That's the whole point. Is I was following orders. People wanted me to say this, and I thought I was supposed to say this, and then they dig in and go hard, and that's where people start getting hurt. And it's pretty spooky, to be honest. Patrick T says Al Gore's wife, Tipper, was the thought police on music. The parties in the U.S. are just taking turns doing the same thing. Yeah, dude, I notice it. It's left or right. Doesn't really matter. Every 10 years, it's like somebody's doing something it's like the left goes so far that they're the right. And then it's just weird. Squid says previous super chatter is wrong. I personally know a Chinese one that lives in Singapore. While they don't have the same freedoms as the U.S., they are far more freedoms than many Asian countries. Thank you, Squid.
Thank you so much. Exactly right. People who've been there, people who know, they'll tell you. And like I said, I've been to these places, so I can tell you because I've done a lot of those things. Not saying that I've broken the law, but I'm saying that I've gotten away with things that technically are within gray areas. We'll put it that way.
John Wong says, I'm from Singapore. The society itself takes away your freedom. Your definition of freedom is not actually freedom. Well, I guess it depends on if it's absolute freedom. A lot of people.
It depends on how. Yeah, if you want libertarianism, by the way, spoiler alert. No country in the world has that now. It's all a matter, my opinion is less bad, right? So are you moving from worse to less bad? Not perfect. There's no one place that's perfect. And that's why I like to spend time in different places. I spent a little bit of time here in Korea. I'm down there in Thailand. I'm over in Japan, traveling around to other countries, seeing what I like, because no place is perfect. There's bonuses and negatives to everywhere, right? But if a place is cracking down on you, let's say you're in Canada, is moving to the US an upgrade? Hell yes, it is. Right? Yep. If you're in California, is moving to Florida or Alabama an upgrade? Fuck yeah, it's an upgrade. It's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, one of my friends that lived in LA, they had a mask mandate come back, like I think in 2022 at some point. And dude, everybody had forgotten about that shit 2 years ago, and they're still going through it. And the U.S. is one of a handful of countries that still require non-citizens to be vaccinated before they enter the U.S. Probably because
which is crazy. Like we think, oh, there's no vax requirement, and they can't do it to citizens. This is a disgusting part. They cannot do it to citizens, but they want to do it to non-citizens. If this was something they were forcing on illegal immigrants, they would freak out. The left would freak out. But because it only applies to legal migrants, they don't care. See, this is the weird part. They make this separation, and the thing is, this is something that Biden does a lot. They make this separation when it's strategically advantage to them. But when it comes to the border, completely ignored. We still got a border problem today.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild as hell. And it's the real reason. The reason's easy to explain and elaborate on. But for some reason, if you talk about vaccines and if people disagreed or agreed, for some reason people get really emotional, and I'll never really understand why. It's just a conversation. But the fact of the matter is, and this is something that a lot of people can't fathom, and I don't really understand why. But the vast majority of every single politician that's in Washington, D.C. has long-term holdings and large holdings in Moderna and Pfizer. The reason why they want these vaccines to be given to every single person, because it leads to more profit in their pockets. That's the whole. It's a very easy. It's not rocket science. If I had 10 million shares in Pfizer, I would probably do the same thing. I would probably
because you'd be making money, right? It's just like an economic interest. But did you see the based black guy in the hood who just destroyed Fauci and Muriel Browser?
Yeah, I saw that.
Now that was so good. He just housed them with facts. And this is during the scamdemic when they were actually pushing these bad facts, like the fact that, oh, I've gotten the jab, therefore I can't transmit the bug, which is, by the way, something they themselves backed up on and got off of later, right? So she was literally lying to that guy in that conversation, actively lying to that guy.
Yeah.
Still can't talk about it. I mean, I'm still. You brought it up, and I wait till the host brings it up because I don't want to get the stream in naughty trouble. I'm still not sure where the line is on that stuff. on YouTube. It's really weird.
It is. Cassius Cleo says that literally happened. Guy got arrested in UK for sharing a meme that someone found him offensive. You are right, Cleo. 100% that did happen. It actually happened like last week, I think. That's why I brought it up, because I was thinking about that exact situation. Dennis Heaton, your chicken and rice diet sucks. I've been eating Rice Krispie treats for breakfast, KFC, and Popeye's dinner, and haven't lost anything. Dennis, what the hell? I appreciate you, dude. Shani said, she said something that I wanted to speak to. I don't know where it is now. Damn it, Shani, I lost you. Oh, there it is. She said, I was also never forced to be vaccinated, so I'm confused. I don't think anybody was forced to be vaccinated, unless you were, I guess you could say.
You could, so here's what they did. Here's what they did over here. Like in Korea, they did this, right? They said, oh, well, certain restaurants and places, bars and stuff wouldn't take you if you weren't vaxxed for a little bit. But within a month, they got rid of that because it was so hated. So they got rid of it within a month. So it was a very short period.
I think that, that's why the entire protest for the truckers happened in Canada. But Alabama was super chill, but people still did get fired. So one of my best friends, she works for the government, and it came to the last week of the vax requirement for government workers. And she's a contractor, and she was like, I don't want to get vaccinated, but I have to. And she ended up getting vaccinated, and plot twist, they dropped a mandate after 2 days because people were quitting the company. And now she's like, well, that sucks. I got wrecked. But it depends on if you like your job enough. No one was held by gunpoint, unless you lived in Australia, probably. But
I don't even joke. They don't even joke about that, because I actually helped 3 people during the pandemic escape Australia, literally escape the prison island, because they wanted to get out, and you had to prove to Australia that you were not going to come back for 6 months. I'm not shitting you. They said, if you leave our country, even though you are a citizen, you cannot come back for 6 months, and you have to prove that you have a legitimate reason, a job, something else to get out of the country in the first place. It was insane. We took for one guy, we took 5 separate tries to get through with immigration and finally get him to leave, finally get him out of the country. That to me is insane, that you can't even leave your own country. It becomes a prison.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Just because Australia is wild, but my favorite part,
they're a prison. They were a prison island. They just went back to the roots, right? Come on.
My favorite part about the entire situation was, so for whatever reason, it became politically motivated, and one entire party was for it, and one was against it, even though some leaders of each were totally for it. But most people, if you were a conservative, you were against it. If you were a liberal, you were totally wanted everybody to get vaxxed for some reason. They're just screaming. And it was funny because the vast majority of Black Americans vote left, but they were also one of the lowest demographics that got vaccinated, and people were confused.
But what was the narrative though? What was the narrative? That it was all the white men on the right that weren't getting the jab, but they were jabbed. That actually, honestly, they were up there on the cuck scale, right? I think it was white women and then white men, right? And then in terms of number 1, number 2, and I think Asians were high as well. Latinos were higher, but I think African American was the lowest.
They're the lowest because they're smart in the sense that they don't trust the government for any reason.
Right, which makes sense.
Thank God. Right? Oh my God, yeah. That's why that guy was so based, coming full circle. He's so based because they remember Tuskegee, man. The government over and over has just absolutely fucked with and destroyed Black communities throughout the last 150 years, and they're still doing it. They're still doing it. They're still doing it to this day. They still do it today. How are you so surprised that they're not trusting of the government, which keeps taking advantage of them every 2 seconds? And they still do to this day. You're right. So yeah, it's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
We'll see what happens though. Do you think there's going to be a part 2? Do you think there's going to be a sequel?
I think they'll try because there was so much money made from it. But I don't know. I think people got a little red pilled on it. So I think that if they try it again, they're going to be like, we've been through this. Right? You were able to scam us once. You've got to give us some. They'll try it again, maybe in 25 years or something like that, or 10 years, I think. But I think they can't rerun that in the next 2 or 3 years. I think it's too soon. The smartest thing they did in the entire situation was making it purely political, so almost an entire party, aside from Black Americans, just took it. And the stock price for Pfizer and Moderna went through the roof. People were making billions and billions of dollars. And that was their whole objective, was to make money off of it. And so when the facts started coming out that it wasn't effective at all and it didn't really do anything, and the natural immunity was more effective, people were think about how many people who knew it was coming, Camelot, because all those Pfizer execs, they all knew this was coming, right? They all knew it was coming. And think about how much money they made. Go back, look at that giant dip, right? If all you did was you had a short, or you bet on the negative velocity, or you just bought the dip,
right? You just freaking bought the dip, bought that $3,000 Bitcoin. You sold it at whatever it was, right? At the peak, right? Was it 60K or something like that?
Yeah.
Whatever it was, whatever asset you wanted to buy, all of them were on a fire sale for about, at least a couple months, but definitely for a couple days. They knew it was happening. They knew it would come back. And these guys made bank off of everybody else's suffering. It was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, it sucks. And to be honest, like, I know it was evil, but I kind of wish I would have got in on the ground floor.
No, I mean, I will say, there were some things I did. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I did make a little bit of money off it because there were some things I was like, wait a second, like, we need oil and like, it's really cheap right now. So let me invest in this a little bit. But like, if I'd really known, I wouldn't even be doing YouTube. I'd be sitting on a yacht somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Shani says that no one in Canada or America was forced vaccinated. Yeah, I agree. I don't know of any situations like that. Well, children were.
Well, but here's the thing though.
Forced them.
Here's the thing. They were forced if you're in certain roles, right? So if you're in certain roles, if you're doing certain jobs, that's how they forced you, right? They didn't come by your house and put a gun to your head and say,
they tried to,
right?
They tried to with OSHA. They tried to
came close.
it with OSHA, which would have made it basically you were forced to, but that never passed. So
unless you were like a person like us who's working for themselves or like working at their own company, right? Like unless you did that, right, you would be screwed. And by the way, I was working with people that were looking into how they could break up their companies into small companies under 15 people. So take 100 people, make a bunch of 15 person companies so they could get around that mandate. People were ready to fight back against that.
CLP said, what was the one with the protest for? Restrictions, not for it was for the restrictions around it. Like a lot of places had curfews, a lot of places had things like that, mask mandates as well. I never really saw the point in. Never really understood. So I'm like kind of on the both sides of this. Like people were really complaining about masks. I never had a problem with masks. It didn't bother me. Now, granted, I am in an area where almost no one wore them and no one thought about it. So that's kind of
I'm anti. See, here's my thing.
Yeah,
I'm all for when you own a private house. I'm all for the freedom to run your business the way you want. So if you say you cannot enter this business unless you're wearing a funny hat, that's fine. That's your business. That's your rule, right? You're not going to make a lot of money because not a lot of people are wearing the funny hat, but you can do that. So technically, I agree that if it's your private business and you own it and you say you need to wear a mask to enter, that's fine. That's your private business. Yeah. But it shouldn't be required that the business do that. So if you're running a burger joint and you say masks only and there's one next to you that's based and says, fuck that shit, no masks required here, that other place is going to outcompete you. You're going to win. You're going to lose because of capitalism, right? That's fine. But forcing somebody to wear it compulsory as a government mandate was absolutely ridiculous. And it wasn't even with, we now know the science didn't match up there. It didn't add up.
I think we pretty much knew that from the beginning, but we weren't allowed to say it because you get banned off YouTube and shit.
I got my strike off of that. By the way, it's weird. You know what happened? So recently they went back and removed those old strikes for those old Rona strikes. So it doesn't even show up on my channel anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird. Really weird.
Weird. Sarah says, are people still wearing masks in the South? If you go anywhere rural, absolutely not. But I do see one about a week. If I go out to like a grocery store, I'll see one person maybe. But it's usually like a big old like fat disgusting person. And it's probably because they're trying to hide their shame. They just don't want you to see their face because I look terrible. Please.
Well, that's what happens over here. We call it mask fishing, right? The girls will hide their teeth usually because they look good and they get to be lazy, so they can put makeup on up here, right? But they don't have to put up makeup on here. It's actually really
Dude, my sister said she wore one forever because she just didn't want to do anything with her face. She's like, I'll just put one on, but I'm good. Wolf Spain says, I wasn't forced by my company, but my grandparents, for my grandparents' sake, my company gave me cash for the jab. I live in Georgia. So that's what that guy said on the video. He was like, if you are paying people to get vaccinated, something's going on. It's something weird, shady. If you have to pay people,
why do you have to pay people? Why? It should, if it's really for your health, why are they paying you to get the jab? And even the mayor's like, yeah, there's something up with that. I'm like, yeah, there is something up with that.
It's a bigger ROI when it comes to what they're getting from the government, based on getting those more allotted to the U.S. That was the whole point. Right. But yeah, it was a strange period, and I'm glad it's over because it was really weird, man. It was a weird ass time. It was really strange.
It's kind of funny because I went from Florida, which was like no mask, no rules. We were doing whatever the fuck we want. We were going to the beach. We were partying. Curfews got lifted. DeSantis was like F you. And I went from that to Korea, which was at the time in full lockdown mode. I had to come here, do a 2-week quarantine when I entered the country. I couldn't go out. I felt like I was in North Korea, not South.
Yeah.
I was tracked. I had people coming and knocking in the full hazmat suit on my door when I was there. It was intense. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I've been wearing just this Monday. They lifted the mandate on trains, buses, planes, stuff like that. And the other requirement outside that's been gone for a while. Inside was lifted, but not in health places and trains. Places. They just lifted that, so it's been behind. But I'm going to tell you, it's been really weird, and I am waiting for everything to go back to normal. My fear is it's never going to go full back to normal because they got too much power, and when you feel that power, you don't want to let it go.
It's almost, it almost felt like it was an experiment, and they know now how people will react. Although it may be harder the second time around. Shani says, I remember vax being suggested but never enforced. I'm pretty sure it was only required for healthcare and military, maybe, right?
Yeah, and because remember, the military, they're pincushions. The law doesn't apply to them. Literally, the Constitution does not apply to the Army. They have different rules. So they're on a different standard. Now, what was done to them was wrong, and they lost a lot of good men who were in there that said, I'm not getting the jab. And they said, well, you're fired. Right. And I actually had a lot of military guys reach out to me. Now, there were some that were able to successfully challenge it, but very few. Very, very few. They didn't care whether you had a medical reason. They don't care if it was religious. They didn't give a shit. They just said, listen, get it or leave.
Yeah, that's how it worked. By the way, we hit the damn lot goal already. By the way, we hit the lot goal. So I'm going to put 1,000 bitches up on here. Get the hell on it, doggone it. And we are a quarter of the way to Fight Milk and halfway to Naked Snake. 250 away from Naked Snake. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Big shout out to Shani for being I think 2 whole pink boys. Real quick for the gold boys is Holy Ozone. I love you. Squid, Cassius, 3 gold boys out of 10 for the gold ass night. Shani, Karis, and Patrick T. 3 orange boys tied with the gold boys, 2 away, and 3 pinks away, and 1 red for the rainbow night. I appreciate you guys. Almost halfway. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Yeah, dude. And it's actually it's refreshing. To be able to talk about. Now, there are still people out there, and look, it's just a discussion for me. I like having a discussion. I don't care what.
And we can have a reasonable discussion. If someone is willing to have a reasonable discussion with me, we can have those reasonable discussions. We can talk about it. Like, let's just talk about it. Let's hang out. Let's not bust somebody's balls. We'll talk and we'll get through it, right? Yeah. But I think people don't want to talk it out anymore. They want to yell. They want to scream. They want to go, shame somebody or make them into an evil person. But the point is that, there's a point why we have these issues, right? When you're bringing up issues, when I talk, whether it's about dating and the issues with dating, right? Or when I talk about the issues in the United States with freedom of speech, with due process, right? There's a reason why these are issues. And if we talk about it, instead of just calling someone a right-wing troll, or a left-wing, whatever, we'll be able to sort that out.
Well, we've gotten to the point where even having a discussion means you're right-wing. Like, even if, and it doesn't even have to be about a right-wing issue. You can just have a discussion. And the fact that you want to talk about something makes you right-wing, which is weird as fuck. Because you'll notice immediately, you can look in the chat when you talk about stuff like this. Yeah. And people in the chat will get angry. They'll just get angry because you're talking about it. And they're like, I'm leaving.
But because you can't talk about it. Because in the left-wing circle, discussion is not thing. Here's what you do. Load current thing. If you're not loading current thing, you're fucking up. You just have to load it, say it, Slava Ukraine, right? Get the jab, right? Whatever else it is, whatever the current thing is right now. Arrest Trump, right? Arrest Trump, right? Even though if you actually look into what he's being arrested for, it is absolutely or potentially arrested for. It is ridiculous. But they don't think it. They don't think critically.
Well, it's all about winning. It's like a football game. It doesn't matter if the penalty is completely bogus. It's all about winning. Because what is it? It's like a misdemeanor that they're just upgrading to a felony just to try to arrest them or something ridiculous. Squid says it won't be back to normal until I can go to Walmart at 3 a.m. with strippers. Dude, I'm telling you what, I
miss those days. Those are good days, man. Those are good days.
I appreciate that. Yeah, dude, it was awesome. I do miss going to Walmart at 3, but I didn't do that for years before. I'm gonna be honest. Like I didn't do that until I did it until I was like 20, and then I never did it again because why would I go to Walmart at 3? So
well, I mean, it was like I remember the late nights. I could pull that all the time. I do it now when I got a lot of work. I did it last night. I was working till 3 a.m. in the morning, but I can't pull that shit. But you see some crazy stuff. I used to watch Insomniac with Dave Attell, the comedian.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yep.
And the people that are up at night, there's a special type of person that's up between like 2 a.m. and 5 or 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a magical time when like the city is not as it should be.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. It feels weird. It doesn't exactly feel stabby, but it feels a little stabby. It's where I grew up. It did. Here it doesn't. But where I grew up, yeah, it felt kind of stabby if you went to Walmart at 3 a.m. And it's kind of spooky because like there's no one there, and you're just in there all alone. Kind of freaks me the hell out, to be honest.
I kind of like it though, because it's like you imagine you're in a zombie movie, like Train to Busan starts playing, you know, like in your head, you know, you see that zombie land.
I got kicked out of Walmart once when it was like 2 a.m., of course. And I walked into Walmart and I was just kind of walking around because, you know, I was like 17, 18. So I'm like walking around Walmart and I walked down the cereal aisle because I'm just killing time, you know. I mean, I'm a dumb kid. And I walk down the cereal aisle and I get to the end of the aisle and I hear like a noise of something drop, like a box. And I look behind me and like a Lucky Charms box in the cereal aisle fell at the other end of the aisle, like 25 feet away from me.
That is creepy. That is creepy as fuck. And it's Lucky Charms because it's a fucking leprechaun.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird as hell. So I'm standing there and I'm like, that was weird. And then I start walking and these two guys in like button ups and had earpieces on charged me and grabbed me by my arms and like drugged, like they didn't assault me in any way, I don't think, but they took me to the door and said I had to leave. And I was so confused. I had no idea what the fuck just happened. Maybe
they probably thought you were stealing something, or I don't know.
I don't know. It was weird, man. And I think
you were on a pedo list. I don't know. Who knows?
The freaking box. Dude, they thought I threw it on the floor, I guess. I don't know, man. It was weird as hell. It was freaking strange. But it's not the first time I got kicked out of Walmart. Got kicked out of Walmart again because I tried to return a ladder and they thought I stole it. Or, well, one lady did. And I was like, I was just here 5 minutes ago with the ladder. I bought it. And now I'm wanting to return it because it's too short. They were mad as hell. It was rough, man. So that was a weird time. You ever been kicked out of Walmart or any place?
I have been kicked. Where have I been kicked out of? You know what? I actually haven't been. I can only think recently I've been asked to leave because, you know, in Asia they do it very politely. I went in Japan. They can't actually arrest you for not wearing a mask. So I don't, right? Some places will suggest it. So I was actually at the Square Enix Cafe. And I was in there looking at their stuff, and they're trying to shoot the grift on this Octopath Traveler stuff. But I was looking at their old Final Fantasy stuff because that's my generation, my level, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8. Yeah. So I'm checking out their stuff. They had some pretty cool little minis and stuff like that. And they come in, they ask me like, "Hey, can you wear a mask?" I'm like, "No, thank you." You know, and they come back, and then you know, a couple minutes later, another guy comes up. It's like, "Hey, please wear a mask." And I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll get out of here. You asked me twice. I get it. You know, I'll get out of here." But you know, I really haven't been kicked out in a damn long time.
You know what that reminds me of? Cecil was telling me about this the other day. Cecil said that in New York, he would just say no thanks when they told him to wear a mask, and then they would move him to the front of the line and check him out and let him leave. So he would just skip lines by just not wearing a mask.
Because people don't want the confrontation. If you're polite about it, you're like, "Yeah, no, thank you. I'm not going to do that." Right? They'll be like, "All right, well, let's just get him out of the way," right? Because we don't want to cause a scene. We don't want to confront people. They're not used to that, right? So just let them move you out of the way, right?
The thing is, so I talked to a lot of people that work at GameStop, and they sent me this internal memo during the COVID days. And that was actually their policy. If somebody didn't wear a mask and they refused, you had to move them to the front of the line and check them out. And I was like, that is literally cheat codes. That is cheat codes, man. By the way, speaking of cheat codes, Shani, what do you mean requested from people here? What the hell? Don't feel peer pressured, Shani, on giving me red boys. Requested from the people. Here's a red boy. Acknowledge the ducks. Duck, 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 duck. I did this for the people. Love you. Duck, duck. Everybody give a round of applause for Shani. We love you. We appreciate you. Good as hell. You're beautiful. You got a tiny face. Thank you so much. Hell yeah. Yeah, Shani's goated, man. She's really cool. But she didn't have to do that, by the way. No one has to super chat me anything, bro. If you want me to do 5 milk, that's fine.
Well, I will say, no, you guys are gonna have to hit me up on locals, hit me up somewhere else. I got some donations. We're in there, but we're gonna need some donos if I'm doing fight milk with them, right? You want me to do that? Go check out my locals, legalmindset.locals.com. Drop some love there. I got my PayPal link there too. If you want to, I'm gonna go donate to you. You're gonna need it. I'm a shyster lawyer right now, so you guys gotta understand. That's how shyster lawyers roll. I'm doing it if you pay me, right? Doing it if you pay me. We're there. We're moving in the right direction, but we gotta speed this up, you know.
Once when I was giving birth, oh my God, what the hell? Could you imagine, dude? You can't you're giving birth and you can't. What about, dude, you know what was really wild? How you weren't allowed to like have funerals and stuff for loved ones, like for certain.
Oh, that was ridiculous. So I have family that run funeral homes, and they're like, no, you know, they're just like, listen, we're doing it our way. Like, people want to try to sue us, like the government wants to try to intervene, right? That is the most, you know, intimate time of people's lives. That's why people were leaving the US. They were going to Mexico, right? Because Mexico didn't have any of these rules. I'd never been to Cancun. And I always thought, oh, it's going to be lame. It's going to be boring. It's going to be some bullshit. I had a fucking fantastic time during Rona because they had no rules. They didn't give a shit. And like, they were just people from all over who didn't give a shit, just partying, having fun, and not really caring. It was amazing.
Well, if you were a politician or a celebrity in Hollywood, that was basically your life. You didn't have to do nothing. It was great.
And none of them did, by the way. None of them followed the rules. They got on private jets where private jets didn't have these restrictions. You saw the Democratic lawmakers on that plane, not wearing a mask, just smiling, giving their selfies. If they really believed in these laws they were passing in their own states, they would have been following them. But they don't. And the truth is, none of them did. Pelosi got those haircuts. Newsom was going to parties. All these guys were partying. By the way, where did they come? AOC, Pelosi, they came to Florida. They left their own draconian states and came to Florida. Ridiculous.
Wild, man. It's just wild. It's rules for thee, man. This is how it's always been. Somebody said, so wait, Mexico exists? Yeah. So by the way, I think it's 12. There's 12 cities in Mexico, which are actually the top 12 most homicide places in the entire world. And 12 of them are in Mexico, and they're the top 12. The first 12 most dangerous cities in the world, including the whole globe, the top 12 are all in Mexico. And
you know what's funny though? Mexico's such a poll, right? So it's got like top 12 murder, but it's got places that are completely safe. You will have zero problems in. You will have a great time. There's no issues. So like they understand. Here's the thing: Mexico understands. Like, yes, they have. The cartels are battling each other, but they still have to make money. So they're like, okay, we don't fuck with the money, right? We just leave it over here. We don't fuck with it.
Yeah, Shani, you said how far from Megan Snake? 150. Already real close, Shani, by the way. Thanks to Shani, by the way, because Shani's like, I think 90% of it. Thank you so much, Shani. Appreciate you. Shani keeping us alive today in the number 17 CAMELCAST. But there's almost 1,000. There's technically 1,000 people in here. We're like 10 away. Make sure you guys like the stream, please. Like the show so we can get Legal Mindsets show up to 1,000 likes. Easy as hell, baby.
And if you can, YouTube algorithm's been hating on my main channel.
Oh yeah.
So if you go over to Legal Mindset, pop a couple subs on there, a couple likes, and we're gonna pop right back about 91,000. I was above 91, and then they took it down and back up. It's ridiculous.
Dude, you are so close. You're at that period that I was so down and out. I'm at that period.
Here's the thing, Camelot. I'm the guy who does not give a shit. Like I care about hanging out and having fun. I would be doing this if I was 5 or 10 subs. It's frustrating to see YouTube constantly hate and constantly try to keep you off.
So we're cut from different cloths. Like you're an educated man that lives in another country. You're sophisticated. I have done nothing with my life. So when I was sitting at I think I was at 98,000 subs. And it started crawling. And I was like, oh my God, I'm right there. And they're not going to let me have this. Like, because I just wanted it so bad just so I could be like, all right, I did it. And now it's over. And I haven't worried about it since then. But that first 100 was.
They know that. They know that. So they make you earn it. They bust that pussy to keep you off the 100K. That's why it's a big deal, because they don't want to send you that plaque. So they do as much as they can to keep you off that. I would have been at it months and months and months ago if they weren't fighting me in the algorithm. Every leg up for me, I have to get 10x the numbers. So I'll get 10x the number of subs. They'll slowly atrophy them off 25, 50 at a time. It's ridiculous. Hey, there you go. You never pop up on YouTube. How is that possible? I have 90K subs and I don't pop up on YouTube. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Matt himself on Rumble with another Rumble rant says, I will throw more grift bucks at you when it's ready, but we need to hit 5 mil. Sub to Trading Time Podcast on YouTube. This is a project I'm working on. Dude, send me a link for it, Matt, please, and I'll pull it up on the stream. Thank you, Matt. By the way, I love you. I appreciate you, Matt. Come
appreciate you, Matt.
Purple boy on Rumble. Dude, Rumble's been great. Rumble's been really, really cool. And every single day something happens and it gets better. Like it was kind of slow for a period. Nothing was changing, and I was like, oh, nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, every day it's like dark mode, update for Android. Now it works. Now there's a chat. Now you can super chat. Now you can do all. And now you can have mods. Now you have logos. Every day something new and crazy. And now my videos went from getting like 3 views to like 1,000 per video now. Because
the videos went way up.
There's a feed. There's a feed now. Like if you subscribe to somebody on Rumble, it gives you their content. So now you have a feed, so your subscribers see your videos. So that's been a big help. Yeah, I've been loving Rumble.
I think I actually have to officially create a channel, because I don't think I realized I don't think I've actually done that. Like, you have your username, but then you actually have to create the channel itself. So I think I've got to do that.
So you have to make the sub channel, and then if you just message probably Nick or somebody, they can get you like if you're not already verified.
No, I have. Yeah, I'm verified.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. Shani
I'm already
says,
verified.
take a moment to appreciate Legal Mind's haircut. I'm here for it. It does look great. It looks
I gotta tighten it up every 2 weeks. I go get the fade. I've been searching for like best fade in Seoul for a while. There's one place they can actually do it right. It's near the universities that have all the foreigners, so they can do it right. So I go over there to get it. So I get it tightened up a little bit, but appreciate it.
Dude, I'll just take a buzz to it. Boop, like that, and then boop. It's real.
Do you do it yourself?
Yeah, it's easy for me. I'm just buzz that shit like in 2 seconds. Because I ain't got time for anything else. You know, I'm lame, unfortunately.
No, I mean, whatever works for you, brother.
Oh yeah, let me open this real quick. If you guys have a second, give my boy I lost StreamYard. Oh my god, oh there it is. Give my boy Legal Mindset some love on his second channel.
Please do.
I'm posting it in the chat right now. Give it some love.
Yep. That's my my Asia channel. It's not going to be for everybody. Obviously, it's focused on guys who want to move to Asia, but it's talking really about the practical side, right? I talk a little bit about the same stuff that you talk about, like, you know, all the feminism, the woke shit, the politics and stuff that you can kind of get away from. I talk about that, but I'm trying to focus also on giving good information on visas, on ways to get over here, ways to live, if it's something you're interested in. If you're not interested, it's not for you, but great content if you're ever interested in coming over here, even if you're interested in visiting. Right, I just got some stuff. It's cherry blossom season in Japan and Korea soon. It's happening imminently. So if you're coming over there to check that out, I got that. If you just want to weeb out and do some weeb shit, we got you on that one too.
So, real quick, must have naked. Let's go, Roman. By the way, 4th orange boy coming in strong, 1 away from the orange last night. Thank you so much, dude. I love you, Roman. You sexy bastard. Where all have you lived? So you live in South Korea.
So I live in South Korea. I've gotten like my residency, not permanent residency, but I got like a business set up and stuff in Thailand, so I can live there as much as I want. I was going to go to Japan, but the lockdown happened. And let's be clear, Korea never had a lockdown like Japan or Australia or anywhere else. They just had restrictions, right? So stuff like, you know, if you get Rona, you got to stay home for 2 weeks. You got to wear a mask. So they were actually one of the few ones that I could get into. And I initially got in here through a work visa, and then I transitioned it to a different visa. Now I'm kind of just hanging out. But I've lived in so South Korea, Thailand. You know, I've spent a lot of time in Japan. I'm from Miami, born and raised in Miami. South Beach shit going down. I could have told you about that years ago. South Beach has become ratchet for the last 10 years. Yeah. So I would not go near that. I've lived in Las Vegas, Orlando, North Carolina. I lived in both central North Carolina as well as West Kakalaki, past Asheville, in like real, we want to talk redneck. I did not understand a word people were saying. Like they would say stuff and I'm just like, yes. I understand Koreans trying to speak English more than Appalachia. It was crazy. So yeah, I lived there for a bit. Where else have I been? Oh, I spent a lot of summers in Europe and stuff like that. You know, so that sort of thing. So I've been abroad a lot, traveled a lot, been to a lot of countries. Central South America, done all that stuff.
Yeah, the annoying thing for me is I was going to go to Japan this year, and then I find out that they also have a vaccination for non-citizens coming in, and I'm like, well, shit. No, they do not. So they just changed the rules. Now this is recent. It's recent. Yeah. So, and I'm going to plan a meetup in Tokyo and Seoul and Bangkok, probably the later this year or next year. That's one of the things I'm going to do. So I know Geeks and Gamers is coming next year, so I'm going to try to work with those guys. I will be at the Tokyo one 1,000%.
100%. So right now it's you either take a PCR test or you have the jab. So you can just take the PCR test, and I think it's 72 hours. You're clear and you're good to go.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, so you should do that this year, so I can go. Thank God.
You want to go this year? Do you want to go this year? Do you want to make it? I can do it later this year.
Yeah, Tokyo. Let's do this. I've been wanting to go to Japan for a long time, and I was planning on going, and then I heard about that. So the fact that it's just changed now.
I think the fall is going to be peak because I think they got to get through summer. Right now, there's going to be a rush of people coming in. It's packed. The Chinese are there. It's crazy. But I think fall is going to be where it's at. Summer is kind of rough in Tokyo, but fall is going to be where it's at. So probably think about something in the fall for Japan.
Bet. Well, I'm all for it now. I would prefer it to be October or later.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. October, November, probably. Yeah.
Our race season ends in
Halloween in Japan is nuts because they do two things. It's either kind of like scary, it's scary, funny, and then there's some kind of sexy, but in a Japanese way. Yeah. Right. But it is actually fantastic. The cosplay is on the next level.
Dude, that sounds exciting as hell.
Yes.
Speaking of exciting as hell, let's give a shout out to all the Orange Boys. Roman, Patrick T, Karis, and Shanny were one Orange Boy away from the Orange Ass Night. 3 Gold Boys so far, 7 away from a Gold Ass Night. The Pink Boys are all Shanny. It's just Shanny. And then the Red Boys are all Shanny as well. Thank you, Shanny. Thank you, Shanny. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank God for Shanny. We love you. She's attributing to the Max Griff today, and I appreciate you, Shanny. She said she'll take me to Japan. You got to connect. Why do you have connections for everything? Shanny's like Muscle Man in freaking regular shows. She's like, I know a guy. And I'm like, how do you know?
I know a guy. Yeah, I know a guy. I know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, she knows everybody. She's like, I can get you. I can take you anywhere. You want to go to Thailand? I can take you to Thailand. What? How do you? What?
Speaking of knowing a guy, let me just share some of the memes from my locals here real quick because I got a couple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share them real quick. So this was pretty good. They got me on this one. They got this one. Hungry Jack, extra light and fluffy. You know.
How they cover up my abs? Those bastards.
I know. Isn't that a crime? That's a crime against humanity.
God.
And then the only time I'll be shorter than you. You know, they sub that out.
Man, if only they saw us.
Appreciate you, locals.
If only they saw us in real life you're like up here. You're like, it's wild. People don't get it until it's too late. You're like, oh, damn. Because you walked past, first time I saw you walk past me.
I was like, no, I'm tall. And they're like, no, I'm really tall. Like, absolutely tall. Like,
yeah.
Nick looks like a manlet. Like, he's actually a manlet.
Yeah, and he's like pretty tall. So
he's 6'3". So
yeah, he's a couple inches taller than me. And sometimes I feel like I'm close when I'm drunk. I'm like, I'm close to Nick, but no, not you. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. There ain't there's no kind of alcohol that makes me feel as like the same.
What are you doing? Do you have any plans to like do you have any other plans other than like the Matsuri thing? Or you have any other places you're going, any things you're planning to do this year?
Right now
that you're thinking about?
Yeah, it's Matsuri currently. I got 26 races this year, but I might have to skip a
couple. Bro.
Because I'm doing the show with Nick in September in Nashville.
Nashville, right? That's Nashville in September.
So
I might be able to make that. That might be something I could do.
Then we'll just have to get to Japan, bro. Look at that.
Yeah, that would be great. We could get on the same flight back. You know, it could be literally like I come hang out and then you guys come this way. You know,
yeah, that'd be sweet. But yeah, that's so it's Matsuri. Then I got September meetup, bunch of goofy ass races, and maybe other things thrown in, and then whatever happens at the end of the year. So look at Shanny still going. Thank God, Allah, Buddha for Shabby. Shabby, you did it. See, that doesn't count. I read it. I was reading your words. Duck, 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 duck. Orange boy, you're welcome. Duck, 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 duck. Thank you so much, Shanny. There's the 5th orange boy. Hot diggity damn. Moto Mahogany says, speaking of Japan, is Gunpla big in Korea? P.S. Check out the Shinonomi for the top tier. Boobla. What the fuck are you talking?
So Gunpla is like the Gundams making Gundams and stuff. There's a Gundam store here, but it's bigger, obviously, in Japan. So Japan's more like into like the otaku stuff, where they'll like go in and they'll be really, for lack of a better word, tistic about a specific thing, right? So that actually happens more over there. Over here, they'll be tistic about other stuff like StarCraft or video games or whatever. I swear, this is the thing, Kamala. I get on the metro, I see old men, not just young guys like, you know, our age, but we're talking like old men, like businessmen in suits watching gaming footage. I see girls, even there's cute girls, right? I know, not fat girls, not whatever else, not weirdos. There's cute girls watching game footage, watching stuff playing. I mean, it's everywhere. So when you focus on stuff, they tend to focus on something and focus on it a lot.
And the thing they don't focus on is food, because what is the obesity rate in Japan? It's like 1.9%.
It is nothing. It is nothing. No, actually, you know what's funny? They do focus on food. They just focus on portion control, and their diet is mostly real food. When I go out in Korea and we're going to Korean barbecue, everything is made in front of you. There's no something that's happening behind and whatever. Like everything is happening in front of you. It's fresh, you know, even though they eat a lot. I'm like, dude, I'm half a Korean in eating ability. I cannot eat that much. I'm half a Korean, but they eat and they stay skinny and you know, they don't have breakfast very often. Yeah. I think that's one of the things. They don't have breakfast. They cut down on sugar, which I think is a huge one in America. They take their coffee black. They call it Americano. They just have it black. So I think a lot of these things contribute. Also walking, right? Nobody has a car, very rare. So walking is a big thing. So.
Man, I tell you what, that's the thing I struggle with is portion control. Because I'm like, it's like Bilbo looking at the ring. It's like, why should I have more? And I'm just like, there's 4 pieces left. Why should I leave them? Oh, and I'm just like, then I feel sick and I fall on the ground and black out. Like,
Has that happened to you? Have you eaten until you blacked out?
no. So what happens a lot to me is I will eat an ass ton. So here, let me tell you a quick story. Went to Japan,
Sure,
or
sure.
went to Vegas, not Japan.
Vegas.
Went to Vegas, and Nick wasn't there yet. He wasn't in the room yet. So
I love Vegas. I lived there for 6 months. Love it.
Yeah, dude. I sat there at the table in my room, which Nick promptly shattered with his mic. But I was sitting at the table and I ate 4 slices of pizza that were like the size of a house. They were like those, like the Italian pizza that's like really big. And I ate 4 of them until I almost was exploding. And then I started drinking this whiskey or bourbon that Nick gave me that had writing on it. It was like $500 a bottle or something. And it was super smooth, but it was like 65% alcohol. So I drank 4 little small tumbler glasses of it. 4. And I was like, uh-oh. And I got up and I went to the bed and I'm like, I'm blacking out. So I got in the bed, woke up and projectile vomited across the room. All my pizza, just vomiting because like I wasn't used to that high alcohol content. I guess it got me fast. Halo Millennium, what's up, baby? Says I'm hoping to save this movie some money to move to Japan someday. I'm saving up to go to language school within the next year or 2. Don't care how difficult it'll be to get in.
And I just recorded a video for my new channel. Literally just recorded it on language schools, language visa. I actually had a language visa to get into Japan. I literally did the whole process. I went through it, and I have a new video. It should come out soon, going through the entire process. But I can break that down. Feel free to hit me up, email me on it, because I've got that visa successfully. I just couldn't go because of Rona, so I ended up going to Korea. So yeah, it's a great plan, and for people who want to learn the language and just get in, that's a great foot in the door.
Yeah, that'd be great if you started learning the language and getting really, really deep into it, and then you move there, because then you're in practice. And
you don't really, to be honest, I'm going to give you like the real red pill. You don't need to be a master before you get there. You can get by on very basic shit if you learn the most important thing. Yes, no, numbers. Give me that, please. Right? Learn those things and practice them and become good at the pronunciation of those, and you will do well in any country in the world. The basic stuff, just master the basics. You'll be fine. You'll get along fine.
Jonathan says, would you consider Shiranomi Umi fat? I don't know who
I don't know who this is. Hold on. Let me keep this up.
Is it a porn star? Oh, sorry. You said keep it up, and I literally closed it immediately.
No, I just got it. Okay. There's a lot of naked photos of her or semi-naked photos of her. She is not, okay. She is Asia fat, but she is definitely not America fat.
Let me pull this one up. Now I gotta look.
Hold on, I got it up. Okay, this is
okay.
Yeah, no, I'm on my Asians. Don't worry. So this is what your grandmother in Asia might call fat, but this is not. This
she looks great.
Right. So yes. Oh my God, horrible, right? Horrible standards in Asia. Oh my God, it's horrible. These fat girls with giant titties.
She is like the fattest person in Asia, probably.
Yeah.
Intimidator says, got a NASCAR dad joke for you. What does Rusty Wallace's last name stand for? We're all asses. Chase and Earnhardt. Rest in peace, Earnhardt, man. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, Wall. But not the fun one, the sad one. The sad wall, not the fun wall.
The wall, not the wall that they're hitting at 30.
No, yeah. So, speaking of Dale Earnhardt, when I was at Daytona, last time I was at Daytona, I also hit the wall. So I have pulled the same stunt, but I was going way slower. I wasn't going 180. I was going like 80. And the wall was tires and it was squishy, and I went right into it and barely got any damage. So it's fun. But yeah, dude, it was wild as hell. So yeah, dude, let's do Japan in October if possible. What the hell?
No, I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna get it out there, get everybody's information. It'll be fun. It'll be really fun.
Oh, speaking of really fun, 70 away from Naked Snake, 570 from Fight Milk. Safely, greatly improved. Well, JTL, what happened was they mandated the Hans device, and that's pretty much what stopped all those deaths in NASCAR. Was one item. I have one sitting right behind me. It's a Hans device. I have a Hans Hero 4, I think. And they pretty much make it where your head doesn't move. Pretty cool. So, yeah, get on it, doggone it. It sucked that happened, but yeah, that's what happened. Cody just hit the wall. He never had it all. What the hell? Shanny's tripping balls in the chat right now. Why are you exposing your snakes? Oh, dude, I love your logo. I've been learning a lot of the score from Spirited Away on piano, and then it started.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my piano was it was really out of tune, man. And it was really out of tune because I hadn't tuned it in years, and I don't want to pay anybody to do it anymore because it's just too expensive. So I quite literally just bought a kit myself, and then I was like, learned how to tune it, and it was way easier than I thought, and it was easy. So, yeah, get on it. 570. Is that all? Not sure. What's up, dude? Are you in disguise? I think I know who you are. Wicked Virtue. What's up, baby? How you doing? It's the thick and delicious Wicked Virtue joining the stream today. So yeah. Anyways, do you like anime and media that's predominantly in Asia?
And so I'm like, here's my thing. I used to watch anime back in the day. I'm a big, huge Cowboy Bebop fan, Outlaw Star, watched Trigun when I was a kid. Yep. But I cannot, because you know how it is. We're creating, we're grinding, we're out here doing stuff. The occasional smash. Yes. You know, I'm out here living my best life. I don't have as much time to spend hours and hours and hours like I did in high school, middle school, right? When you got a lot of time on your hands.
Yep.
So I gotta focus on the really good anime. If I have only maybe an hour a week maximum of free time where I could be doing anything, right? Maybe 2 hours that's like unallotted, right? You got to sell me a good anime. So I rely on my good friend Brandon, the anime guy, or other guys I trust, like you guys. If you tell me a good anime, I'll watch it. But it's got to be vetted. I just don't randomly watch anime hoping it's going to be good. Like it's got to be good. And you know what's one of the things that I know it's good? If the left tries to cancel it, I'm like, immediately let me watch that. Let me watch Goblin Slayer. Let me watch Shield Hero. Let me watch all the ones that they try to cancel. Those ones I know are going to be good.
Yeah. So the thing with me, the thing for me is I don't like anime tropes, and they're annoying. Shani requested this. There you go, Shani. I don't like anime tropes in the way that a lot of things tend to happen a lot, and they're really frustrating to me. And it started happening a lot in this show I'm watching called, I just mentioned it earlier, the Alice in Borderland. But you'll see what's happening on screen, and you'll understand the context of what's happening. But then the character will explain it like over and over. It's like, I need to get to the other side of this bridge to make sure I set off this bomb. And then it's like, if I can get to the other side of the bridge, I'll be able to set off this bomb. And I'm like, why are you saying this 9 times? Like, stop doing this. Like, and it's kind of annoying that it's like, I just want to be able to, and not all of them do that, but some of them do. I watched Slime. It's called That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime. And it was pretty good. But that happened a lot throughout the show. And I'm like, can we just move forward?
Yeah. That's the one thing they got is the build up. And that's a little bit of the Asian peculiarity where they'll sit on something for a while, like, instead of just like, let's move the action, right? Like, let's keep going. We don't need that, but they use it as a plot device. You gotta, you know what I do? Fast forward 1.5x speed, whatever else you need to do to get through that scene, because you know it's coming. You're like, all right, okay, we're back in the action, right? I do that. I do that all the time. You know, just because, hey, look, I can't be wasting time on that. But the story is still better than Hollywood, even with that, right? Like our complaint. Remember, this is just a complaint, like a minor complaint. It's not that the story is bad. It actually has a good story overall, which is something you don't see in Hollywood. I just haven't seen a movie other than stuff like Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, the good, like very rare.
It's hard to dedicate any time to something you know will be bad. Somebody said, they mentioned One Punch Man. So I liked One Punch Man's first season, but the second season was just not about, you know, Saitama. It was about only the other characters and their backstories. And I'm like, I don't care. And anime does this thing where it tries to make every single character have a motivation for whatever they're doing, and it's always like they try to redeem every character. The character that's killing and raping everyone they'll like do a flashback to how they were bullied in school and they were assaulted, and that's why they're so evil now. And I'm like, can we just like can a bad guy just be bad? Why do we have to keep going back to like trying to redeem every single character that sucks? And it just
and that's the whole thing. It's like, make all the villains good, right? And like, they were all like, they're women, so now we have to make it about, you know, #MeToo. Now it has to be a gender thing and discrimination, and you know, we gotta you know, rehabilitate all these characters because they've been made into evil, and you know, we got to make the white men horrible. Look at Velma. Look at any of those stories. They're all the evil white men, because they're the only ones that are allowed to be the villain anymore. Anybody else, and it's racism. So
that's why it's hard to watch anything from Hollywood nowadays. Because,
but are you excited about Little Mermaid though? Are you really excited about Little Mermaid?
She looks like Sid from Ice Age. I don't want to do it, man. I don't want to do it anymore.
They're just so wide.
Yeah,
so wide.
Don't get me wrong. I'd balls deeper until the knot went down. But her eyes are far apart. And in certain scenes, it looks weird because in real life, if you look at pictures of her, she knows how to make herself look great. Like everybody like works to their strengths. So when you see pictures of her on a red carpet or on Instagram, she looks awesome. But dude, in certain scenes in Little Mermaid, it's like they didn't factor that in. She looks
lazy.
weird.
It's lazy. It's lazy. It's lazy. Look at some like Aquaman, right? Like we have the technology, right? Like when you've seen a good movie with CG, when you've seen a good movie with editing, and then you go and you have kind of crappy editing or fake looking CG, you're like, it's not, like you got to do better. Like we've got better. We know you can do better. You're literally putting this out there, and you're gonna literally market this on racism, and and that's going to be your whole marketing for this. And at what point are people going to learn that this is a Disney tactic? You put a POC in a prominent character, you literally call white people racist, you say you're racist for not going, you try to white guilt them into going, right? And frankly, it stopped working. Look at the box office. Nobody's going. They're putting these things straight on video because they know they're not worth it. And by the way, they can gain the numbers when they're doing it on their own platform because they're the ones reporting it. They're self-reporting. Yeah. That's like China reporting on COVID numbers. Do you really believe that?
No.
Like, do you really believe that? No, it's bullshit. Right?
Of course not. Eric V says, awesome collaboration. What's up, Camelot and Legal Mindset? Here's an orange boy, Legal Mindset. I get you next time I catch you live.
Well, you can get me now on Locals, legalmindset.locals.com. You guys can get me there. We're rocking over there. But appreciate you.
Jesus, Mary Joseph. Disco Cobra with a $100 super chat says, I'm more stoked to see Cody play RE4 remake. Oh, dude, it's gonna be so awesome. I want to see him beat it. You want to see me? Oh, you want to see me beat the game on stream? I read that wrong. I picked up the collector's edition on eBay. I know I overpaid, but I got to get that statue. Just finished watching Roadhouse in 4K, dude. You know what I was watching last night for the first time ever because I've never seen the Rambo movies.
Never any of them. Not a single one.
I saw one of the older ones, and it's where that meme of him doing the thumbs up is, and he's like 60 or 70. I saw that one, but I never saw the old ones. So I turned on First Blood last night because I actually found it on HBO Max because I searched for it the other day and I was like, I guess I have to, pirate it. But I found it on HBO Max. So I started watching it. I fell asleep about almost at the end. But dude, it was awesome. I was like, this is fucking amazing. And it's like, they drew first blood. They drew first blood, Colonel. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, they drew first blood. Thank you, Disco Cobra, by the way. You're a maniac. You got us within 430 of Fight Milk in one hit with Eric V. Thank you so much. It might happen. We're closing in. Disco, I love you. Sweet kisses to your penis, dude. And I will play Resident Evil 4. Helena says, just popping in to say, how you doing, baby? Oh, they're starting to roll in. Patrick T says, you have the technology to add a power bar for your super chats. Well, that's only in OBS. This is StreamYard. Damn you. Damn you. Appreciate you. Well, there might be a way to do that, but we're 440 away, something like that. Thank you guys so much for all your support. You guys are crazy as hell. You ain't got to do that. I love you. I appreciate you. But yeah, dude. So I was watching the first Rambo, or it's called First Blood, I think. Yeah, and it was fantastic. And then I fell asleep, so I'm gonna finish it tonight. But yeah, dude. I love those movies so much.
They're great, man. They don't make movies like that anymore. You can't make 80s movies. That's why, like, you go back, you legit watch the old stuff you haven't seen. Because here's the other thing about the old stuff. It's done. Right? Like they may make some woke remake at some point, but like the old series are done. So if you want to watch Rambo, all the Rambos that are going to be out, that are going to be good, that are going to have, old Rambo in them, they're out, right? It's done. Yeah. So go back and watch them all. Like that's what I watch now. I don't watch, if I'm going to watch movies, I don't typically watch new stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's because they hire writers who are up and coming new writers that are 25, 30. They grew up in a super privileged life in Hollywood under some millionaire parents or some bullshit. And they get to this point, they've never had any trauma or struggle. So what do they do with a legacy character? They just write the movie and they make the legacy character old and decrepit and not good anymore and sucky and evil and misogynistic. And he has to get shown up by a new character where he tosses the torch to them. And it's so frustrating. And the cool thing,
it's got to be a female or a POC character, exactly. Right? Always, like Indiana Jones, right? It's got to be the female version, right? And which always will fail, right? Because here's the thing: it's a bigger insult to women and people of color to say they have to take the white man's hand-me-downs rather than make an original character.
That's what people are so mad over. So I actually, dude, I talked about this the other day, or actually, I tweeted about it today, and no one's really mad about it. And I think it's because the tide is turning. I tweeted about The Little Mermaid. And of course, actually, let me bring it up real quick. So I tweeted about The Little Mermaid, and I was like, basically saying that it's not, people are not just racist for not seeing The Little Mermaid. So let me pull this up real quick.
No, yeah. Why not? I mean, why not go into any of the thousands, millions of stories from Africa, from real Africa, based Africa, by the way, because there's a big difference between people who are from real Africa and people who are from a Western country who have been lived there and in the entitlement culture there. But why not pick African folklore and real African folklore and go in there and do that story? You can make it good. You can make it fantastic. Yeah. Why does it have to be Danish folklore? Why does Aragorn in Magic the Gathering, right? Something's supposed to be about British culture. Why is Aragorn now, a person of color, right? Yeah. Why can't they just make a new character?
Yeah. So this says right here, over 1 million dislikes on the Little Mermaid trailer due to the lead actress. And this is all they're saying. It's because the lead actress is black, and that's it. And that is. This is what I said. I said it's weird how Creed 3 is dominating the box office with two black leads. It's weird how Book of Eli is loved. Denzel Washington. Black Panther has high up votes. An entirely black film. Weird how Blade is loved. Wesley Snipes is universally loved for those films. Weird how Morgan Freeman is universally loved in everything he does. But no, we're just racist because we don't like The Little Mermaid. And the reason is, it has nothing to do with race. It's that they're changing a character disingenuously. And what I say right here is, like, people can see through it now, and even people of color can see through it. They're starting to see that they are given these things almost as a what would you call it? It's almost like it's
condescending. It's speaking down to them. It's like, oh, here, you can have your brother's used boxers that they've already coomed in, right? Like you can have that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're covered in coom, and they're handing them to you. It's like the sock, right? You get the old sock, right? Have you seen Blue Mountain State?
No. Go ahead.
Okay, you gotta. That's actually an oldie but a good TV show. It's not that old, but Blue Mountain State, Thad Castle. I feel like you will identify with Thad. There's a pocket instrument that gets passed around, and it's like using someone else's pocket instrument. We'll call it that. Shit. Matt himself on my local. See, I was not going to make Fight Milk happen, but he just dropped that hundo over there on my legalmindset.locals.com. So he is making it happen over there on local. See, that's how you make it happen.
Betrayed me.
No, he made it happen. It wasn't going to happen. I told people it wasn't going to happen unless I'm a shyster lawyer. I don't do things for free.
Yeah,
but he's making it happen.
Makes a lot of sense. The malware says, if you haven't seen it, watch the 80s movie Society. Let's just say it'll stick with you for a long time. And Rackets will recommend it. Everything that Rackets recommends is fantastic. Patrick T says, writing yourself is better than writing for the
hold on. Do you believe that the Jedi are groomers like Rackets does?
Now, look, I hold a similar opinion that I think most Star Wars movies are bad, except for maybe Empire.
Empire's fucking fantastic.
The Jedi are, if you look at it objectively, if you took out Jedi and Empire, the Jedi are definitely the bad guys.
Yeah, they are. They're literally the people that are supporting disorder and chaos.
Yeah,
against a very ordered, structured universe. Well, largely people are just kind of left alone. They're like, all right, just pay up and pay your taxes and kind of send some. We're gonna take some people as stormtroopers, if we have to. And really, honestly, they wouldn't have had to have anybody but the clones if there wasn't a rebellion, right? Yep. They wouldn't have had to take any manpower out of anybody. They would have just been, okay, yeah, we're here with the police force, we're keeping it order and stable, and we're fighting against the greater threats. We're uniting because the Emperor knows about greater threats that are outside the universe. Yep. The Jedi are content with petty squabbles that are going to disunify the entire universe.
And no one's allowed to do anything without the Jedi's approval. So they're basically God. And they're also stealing children that are 9 years old away from their parents to train them. Yeah, dude, it's
in celibacy and all these other things. They got to be like why can't they have sex? Like, why is that a thing? Like, why does that bring them to the dark side? Because they smash.
They're basically monks, to be honest. Coochie, yes, I do. How you doing, Coochie? So yeah, it's a little weird, but I do like Empire and I like Rogue One, even though I think it's Anna that yells at me every time I say I like Rogue One. I don't know why.
No, I think of the new movies. Well, forget Anna. I mean, come on, it's Anna. So I mean, talk about bad takes. But and I'll say that, by the way, I love you, Anna. So I think you've heard the original story about how I met Anna, right?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you that in a second. So Rogue One, I will say, of the new movies, it did the best because it didn't fuck with the old timeline and it didn't retcon anything.
Yeah.
That was why I appreciate it. And it was just well shot. The CGI was good. The cinematography was good. It felt like a good movie, right? And look, it's not perfect, but it was a hell of a lot better than everything else. And by comparison, I mean, they were shitting on us with Rey. Andor looked good, right? Everything, all the characters look good that were in that.
Yep. What? What's this? Hold on. Anna thinks 9/11 happened in November.
Oh God. So here's what happened. So actually, I'm at the not where the two hotels. There's the Hyatt and the Marriott, I think.
Yeah.
At Houston. So I'm in the Marriott and I'm buying a headache medicine because I've been coming off the plane and I'm coming from Korea. It's long flight. I'm just like the fuck out. And I hear this person in the background saying, "No, I'm not going to put that in my butt, Cecil." And and then she's like, "I'm not into butt stuff once again." And he's like, "Are you sure, Anna?" And like, I'm like, "Oh God, that's that Star Wars girl. That's Anna." But I'm not going to say anything right now. We're in a group text together. We're trying to coordinate meeting up at a bar. So I go take the ibuprofen, take a little nap. She's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm here. I saw you. I'll come to the bar." So I come to the bar and Cecil's there. And he is like, "Oh, I forgot my wallet. I don't have any money or something like that." And I go, "Dude, I got you. I'll buy you a drink." And he's like, "Dude, this is the first time I've been bought a drink ever in my life." Yeah. And then you see Anna. She's like, "How about me?" And I'm like, "Get out of here." I'm like, "Be gone, thought. You get so many things bought for you. I'm not buying anything for you." I got my boy here, but not that. He was blown away by that first time. And Anna, after that, actually respected me. It was fantastic.
Yeah, dude. Man, I love Cecil and Anna. They're great people.
They're great people.
To be honest, Cecil and Anna are, I think, the only people I've ever seen at, like, I've just went and hung out with them before. Like,
and then we met that same day. Actually, that was the same day we met in Cecil's room as he passed out drunk, and we all kept talking.
You were in the corner, and I was, dude. I was getting blasted though. I was like, I don't know where I am. Oh my God! And he kept being like, "Hey, you want another one?" I'm like, "Yeah." Man, I just keep drinking bourbon and shit. It was fun. I'm real excited this year too. It's gonna be a lot of fun, dude.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
So people of color playing characters is equal to cultural diversity, but when Hank Azaria voiced Apu, it was racially biased. Oh God, I love Hank Azaria. God, I love that sumbitch. God, he's so good in everything he does, man. Oh man.
And someone mentioned Clone Wars, the animated version. I know a lot of people like that. I just didn't watch it, right? Yeah. But I believe you if you say that those were good. And listen, if you like something, I'm never going to shame you for liking it. Just you like it. That's fine. But
dude, there has been, I have never heard a person not say it was fantastic. And I just never really watched through it. I just never really cared a lot to, and it's because I'm not really big on Star Wars. And it's because of the sequel trilogy. It's because I was really excited for Force Awakens, and I was like, "Uh-oh, this is gonna be great." And it was kind of okay. It was a little kind of garby, but it was setting up some stuff for the next one. So I was like, "Okay, we're gonna get to see Luke. We're gonna see who Snoke is. It's gonna be really cool." And then the next one completely was like, subverting all your expectations. Snoke is actually nobody. Rey is nobody. Luke Skywalker is an asshole, and then he dies for no reason. God, it was such a stupid movie. It was so.
And the thing is, like, why would you kill off your number one merchandise money-making characters? Because understand, these companies make money off the merch and the games and everything else.
Yep.
And you're literally killing off your number one merch makers, Han, Luke, Leia. They print money. They literally print money forever. All you do is keep those characters around, keep them somewhere, make them cool. Don't cuck them. Don't kill them. Don't make them obsolete. Don't say that their time is over and delete them and all this other stuff. Just keep them around, make them sort of cool, and you print money forever. Yeah. Star Wars was a no-brainer until you put people that I guess they returned to Monkey or something. They were below.
When the movies were written, filmed, and directed, they were writing it as they shot the movies. They had no plan, and they were written and shot and filmed during the height of like over the top woke bullshit.
And woke shit.
And there was no chance. They had no chance. And now if the sequel trilogy happened now, let's say it didn't happen until just now, it would have been a completely different experience. None of that would have happened. Because people they're voting with their wallets.
Well, actually, no, wait, hold on though. I think if it's Disney, I think it happens no matter what, because they're committed.
They're still trying,
they're committed to it.
They're still trying. Like you can see it with The Little Mermaid. They're still trying. What is the point of making a live action film like Little Mermaid when 98% of it's CG. Like the entire film is CG because they had to do it that way because the actress she can't swim, so she can't be in water. So they had to make everything CG. It's just, man, it was really silly, and it's all very silly and looks terrible, and it's sad. It's just sad to see Disney go down this, and everybody's saying Disney's dead now. Obviously, Disney's not literally dead.
They're not. They got plenty of money, and understand that there's investors and everything else.
Yeah,
like
you get people,
they're going to be fine. They need to have a big. Here's how they'll fail. They'll fail if the parks don't get people for a long time. That's how they'll fail.
Yep. And that's what they're doing right now. Like, if you go to a park, you're going to see Rey and Kylo Ren. Why? No one gives a shit balls about them. I want Vader and freaking Luke, maybe. And that's it. Maybe some Han. That's it. Maybe some Chewies that don't, and maybe even a Roto or Rito or whatever his name is.
Kathleen Kennedy talked them out of that. They said, this is going to be the new thing. This is going to be the new next generation. This is going to last for 100 years. This is going to be something that's going to go beyond that. So we're going to make a world that has none of the old characters, right? Because there were two plans. Originally, they had a plan to put Chewie and Vader and all that and make it just that. But they said, nope, we're not going to do any old stuff. We're going to do all new stuff. Complete whiff. They completely got bamboozled on that. They completely drank the Kool-Aid. And that was the biggest fuck up of all. That was a grand slam. All you had to do was have one or two rides that were sort of cool, like an X-Wing ride, an AT-AT ride, Snowspeeder, any of those. You will print money forever. And mind you, the parks make 60% of Disney revenue. Still, to this day, they are the majority of revenue.
They got used to smelling their own farts, and they thought they could do no wrong. And then those movies came out, and they realized that they could definitely do some wrong. And it has everything to do with ESG. It's just, you can't get projects approved or funded unless you follow the certain rules. And you can see a lot of studios are finally getting away from it. And finally, dude, it's finally, like Top Gun was a great example. Thank God for Top Gun. It brought an old character back.
They tried to shame that one. It totally whiffed. I know they tried to make it into racism or someone else.
Dude,
it was just wholesome.
They brought an old character back, and instead of making him tired, old, and annoying and stupid and full of himself, he was a badass, confident, and never failed and kicked everybody's ass. And then the movie goes off, and that's how it should have been. And that's how every movie that comes out that has older characters from old series, they're always angry, crotchety. They failed. They lost all their money. They don't believe in themselves anymore. They hate everybody. And then they have to learn through the love and optimism of the new POC woman character.
Right.
They are capable of loving again. And then they die at the end. Like,
right. And they have to sacrifice themselves. Yes. That's the whole thing. They have to physically sacrifice themselves, like Kylo Ren. The white male has to die or sacrifice themselves when they realize, oh, I've been evil, so now I'm going to trade sides, right? And the most they will make them ever is like this ally kind of cuck femboy sort of thing, like the General Hux, right? Yep. You know, he's the General Cucks, right? That's the most they're going to give it at, right? It's really weird, it's cringy, and it's out of touch with reality, because reality is about stories, the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is something that has been in every culture around the world, whether you're in Asia, Africa, Europe, Native America. Guy starts in his home. Guy goes away, he has a conflict, right? Goes away from his home to learn a skill, meets a mentor. The mentor teaches him, probably dies or goes away. He has a struggle. He learns something. He beats it. He almost dies, but he beats it, and he comes back home with those new skills to help his home, to help his people, to help people once again. This is a cycle, and they've gotten away from that. Their cycle is, instead of learning and growing and believing, woman or person of color is perfect. Nobody can do anything to them because they are perfect. They win against all odds because they're perfect. They don't need to learn. They're just born perfect. They're born queens. They're born with all their powers. The end. Yeah, that's not a story humans connect with.
The way those characters are written now is because the people that are becoming writers that are coming up, they've never had, they're all like pretentious Hollywood writers that grew up as kids. And they're like, Daddy, I want to be a writer. And it's like, I'll get you a job since I'm a studio exec. And they come in and they don't know how to write trauma or like obstacles for a character because they never had any. So they're like, okay, so there's this girl, she's never trained. I don't even know what training means. Rey, she's just good at lightsabers for whatever reason. Also, she's the best Force user ever because
Instantly good at lightsabers. Instantly.
Yeah, because of the prophecy. She's just good. And also, she's super intuitive. And also, she's extremely smart and she knows what to do. Also, she's perfect at strategy, so she can take down whole armies. Like, she's just perfect in every way. And it's like, okay, is there anything she goes through that's bad? No, absolutely not. She actually is able to thwart anybody that puts her through any trauma immediately. And I'm like, this is a terrible character.
Yeah, the only problem she has are like her feeling bad emotionally because of men, right? It's like making the men breaking her heart and disappointing her and all of this stuff. That's the only thing she does, right? It's like feeling bad about these men in her life, right? That's the only problem that Rey faced, right? It's a horrible hero's journey. No one connects with that, and it wouldn't matter the gender. That's just, even if they made it a guy, that would be a horrible story.
Xander says, I hear when they use OG characters, they have to pay royalties. If they make new characters, they don't pay that. Well, I don't really know.
Not entirely, Xander. The issue is with the image, right? So people like Mark Hamill have long signed away their right to the character of Luke Skywalker, right? So like that, Mark and Han Solo. Oh my God, Harrison Ford? They long signed away their rights. Those things, Carrie Fisher, they all RIP. They signed their rights away long ago, right? So the Disney's got those pretty much in perpetuity. The issue would be when they're making an appearance in a film. So in a film, that's a one-off thing, right? So they can print Luke Skywalker stuff forever, put him in every single game. When he's got to appear in a film, or if they need him to record new voice stuff, that gets expensive. So that's where they try to skip out. And that's why they're trying to go with CG technology. And the interesting legal thing is, if a person makes a CG of you and does a fake voice and a fake video and all that without, like, do they need to pay you extra for that? I think that's going to be a court decision in the future and will be very interesting for the future of content creation.
Yeah. Purple Epic Icon says Mandalorian's the only thing holding it together, and Mandalorian's actually not that great. The first season's all right, and then the second season's very, very okay. And now, of course, no one's watching it, and it's because it's like a shiny turd. Like, we're so used to getting beat like dogs that eventually, if you give us like a treat, it's no longer that bad. It's like, oh, well, this is okay. This is pretty great, actually. It's not, I don't want to die. I don't want to like tear my eyes out. You know what I'm saying? So this means it's great. And it's because contrast. We're comparing and contrasting all the last garbage, the last 6 entries to Mandalorian. And in contrast, Mandalorian seems great. But in actuality, it's like a 7. First season, second season, really.
So yeah, I've only seen the first and second season of Mando. I have not seen the third. So I don't know if you've watched it or not. I would say like it was okay. But the thing is, once again, like Rogue One, there was so much shit that people were okay with mediocre stuff that has a lot of member berries and old, references back. And to be honest, member berries are only going to get you so far. Like, it's good for an episode or two, but if that's your whole gimmick, sorry, it's not going to power the whole series.
Joey Flores says, hey, Camel Thought, I got my T levels checked and they're low. I'm 26. Should I get on TRT? There's going to be certain things you can do to naturally increase your testosterone that you would try first. And this is going to the gym, dieting, eating certain things, eating at certain times of the day, things like that. If that doesn't help, then you would consider getting on testosterone.
And I have a lot of friends who do it and don't do it. And I think, yeah, that's exactly the thing. You got to be dieting and exercising for at least a year before you consider it. Like, at least do a year seriously dieting and exercising, doing everything you can, especially your diet, because you're eating a lot of things, particularly in the US, that have a lot of estrogenic effect. Watch your water too. That's a big one. Tap water. Yeah. Be very careful with that shit.
A lot of people, they actually will buy protein because they're like, I'm going to the gym, I'm gonna get some protein, and they accidentally get soy-based protein, and they don't even know it. So it gets you whey protein eggs. Not sure says, I quit watching when they fired Gina. I actually haven't watched since then either, because I love Gina, and I want Gina to come on my show, but I know she's just too damn important for me. Damn you, Gina. I have a crush, man, and I can't make it stop. I can't turn it off. Okay,
can't quit you, Gina.
I can't quit her, man.
I mean, I just respect her. I mean, honestly, like I mean, she's not my my dream waifu in terms of aesthetics, but in terms of everything she said and her struggle and what she dealt with, she is the prime example of a regular person. She just wants to be a normal person. Who the woke have said, no, you cannot be a normal person anymore. You cannot just go about your thing and be normal. She's not ultra right or whatever. She was never a political figure. Yeah. She's like, look, I just want to do my thing. And I'm a fighter, right? She's an actual fighter. She knows that women can't fight men. And that's not controversial.
Yep.
Right. That's not something that is crazy. Anybody who's a real fighter who's actually in the ring will tell you that.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Same weight class, the man will win every single time.
Yeah, and the issue is the thing that happened to her was also kind of at the height of all the bullshit. And you can tell in just the last year, maybe 2 years, everything is starting to come full circle now. And suddenly, even people that I know that are like, outspoken, like people on the left, which is fine, they're now against this bullshit. They're like, I can't believe they fired Gina. Like, Star Wars sucks. I'm tired of this woke bullshit. And I'm like, I thought you were a liberal. I'm confused. And they're like, no, fuck that shit. And I'm like, oh, so it's everybody.
Because they're getting there and they're seeing when regular women are coming over. And that's actually been the biggest thing is like regular women are being like, wait a second, this is too far. Wait a second. You're telling me that we got to compete against these people in powerlifting competitions and, strength competitions. This is getting a little insane. Right. And
the unfortunate truth is a lot of them are still enabling it. You'll see pictures of a trans woman winning some kind of competition, and the other girls that are second and third are cheering and hugging. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, there was that one picture. You've seen the Leah Thomas picture, though, right? With like Leah's over there, and then they're over on this side. I think that's the real reaction. They may have to do it now for optics because of that photo. They know they're gonna be exposed, so they've got to do it. But secretly, they all know the truth. They all know what's up, and they all know that they have an unfair advantage.
And who got us here? Well, as Yellow Flash would say, damn woke ass white women got us here.
Yeah, woke ass white women led the way, and by their army of simps. It's their army, their legion of simps that came out and said, if we support this, we're gonna get the smash, right? You're still not smashing.
Suddenly they realize they're not smashing. They're still not. They're still not. And they're like, but I thought if I just simped harder. And I'm like, that's not how it works. No, they're still smashing the dude with the MAGA hat on, actually. Didn't know that, right?
That was the oldest joke. I had a buddy who he would during the Biden Trump election, he would go out with the hardcore leftist girl, the Bernie girls, all that stuff, and he would pretend to be along with their bullshit, until they got home, they smashed, and then when after they had sex, they're like, oh, can I borrow your T-shirt? And so he pulls out the red MAGA shirt. It's like, oh, here you go, and they would flip out, they'd scream, they'd be like, what the fuck? And then they do it again. You know what I mean? Like it would just go down.
I had one hanging on my wall. I had a MAGA hat that one of my friends left at my house as a gag gift because I was never really involved after the first Obama, and I was like, I don't really care about politics anymore. And I put my hat on the wall because it was just sitting there. So I was like, I'll put this on the wall. And dude, I had 2 different girls come over that were from Tinder, and they were so mad about that hat. And dude, within 10 minutes, they were both of them had their drawers off. It's just how fast it was. So it's just they're like, oh damn, he doesn't give a damn.
Yep. How do you feel about my locals is having a little bit of a debate here. So how do you feel about resting bitch face? Because here's the opinion, right? And this is I'm gonna read from my local. So resting bitch face just weeds out the weak ones. When a guy starts with you're kind of intimidating, so I was afraid to approach you, it's much easier to walk away. I feel like whenever I see that, it's like challenge accepted, Like the RBF is like challenge accepted. Like I can make you smile and I can make you laugh. Like I know I can do that. I have that power.
Yeah. To be honest, it depends on the person. I kind of like of course bitch face. I don't know what it is. I kind of like it. It's scary. And also, real quick, Cody says he doesn't care about politics. Yeah. So being able to talk about politics and not caring about political figures or voting, and because I haven't voted since I was like 20 or 18 actually. That's what I mean. I don't get involved, but I can talk about it. I can talk about anything, dude. I can talk about freaking gay sex if you want me to.
Well, here's the thing. I think the conversations we're having right now are what real Americans, real people around the world should be doing. Let's talk issue by issue, because I think when we really break it down, we stop getting into this. You've got to anoint somebody as God, Emperor of mankind, like the 40K universe, right? Yeah. Like you don't need Trump to be God, Emperor. You can say, look, I agree with this thing he did, right? But this other thing is stupid, right? Yeah. This person, right? Maybe they have this policy I don't like. Let's talk about the issues. Because if we work issue by issue, I think most Americans would actually probably agree, right? There's like probably a very small amount, but if we worked issue by issue, we could probably find common ground, find areas where we agree more than we disagree. Just nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that, and politicians are not incentivized to do that at all whatsoever.
Well, yeah, people are more. Unfortunately, they're afraid of even having the conversation. Even if they would agree, they don't even. They're scared. They're just scared of getting in trouble. It's all about getting in trouble. Like they're scared to get in trouble by their friends, their family, their peers, people on social media, people. Because
we see that shit. You walk into it all the time, man. I mean, I see you. You'll be DMing. You'll be like, I'm about to walk into this one. I'm like, yes, you are, right?
Yeah,
like 100%. Anytime you talk about men and women's issues on the internet now, you're walking into a landmine. You're walking into a battlefield.
Yeah, and the difference is people like you and me, we don't care. Like we don't care what people think about us. We care about what we think about us and our loved one thing. That's it. We don't care about what people, random ass faceless people care about us. But the unfortunate truth is the vast majority of people do. They just do. So they'll say whatever they can to possibly fit in, or they'll try to avoid the conversation because they're terrified of getting drug into it and then getting outcast by the people that they might want them to appeal to. So that's the issue. People care too much about what people think, and social media has exasperated that 2 times 1,000. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
100%.
Xander says, I had a chance to meet Gina, but then she got fired the day before she was going to do the interview at BB. Used to work there. Man, Xander, everybody has a chance to meet Xena. I'm just trying to hang out with her and drink with her, but that'll never happen probably.
It can happen. It can maybe happen like at a convention if you guys happen to go to the same convention. I think it can happen.
I'm trying. I'm trying so hard. You don't understand. I'm not really trying very hard, but I should probably be trying harder. I did message her. I think I've DM'd her twice now. I'm like, hey girl, come on my show, baby. And then I told drunk 3PO Jay, I was like, hey, tell her to come on my show. And he's like, she probably won't do it. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thing. I'm like, yeah, I know, but still,
you got to be careful. You're a certain size. You know, you got to be. I get it, and also like a certain public figure. People are going to clip you. People are going to say shit. You got to be careful.
Yeah. Carrie says telling a woman with resting bitch face to smile is considered catcalling. That's like what old men do, I guess. I've never really understood the smile thing. That's weird.
I think that's a meme. I frankly have not ever heard like that. I think it's like a feminist thing where they say this happens, like a guy tells you to smile, like, you know, or whatever.
It's older men. So when I worked at GameStop, I would have women that worked in my store, and old men do that. They do that. They're like, hey, it's a great day out here. You need to smile more. Like, and it was always old ass dudes, not like normal dudes. It was old ass.
Right. Like old as fuck. Maybe that's maybe some boomer thing. I mean, if someone told me to smile, I'd be like, yo, how about you eat a dick? Right. Like, I mean, like, don't tell me what to do. If you want me to smile, make me laugh. Tell me a joke, right? Earn that shit, bitch. Like, earn it. Right.
Yeah. But as far as like normal catcalling go, that's not a thing where I live. I would imagine it's a thing in densely populated cities with poverty, but it's not a thing here. People don't care about that. I guess depending. Now I have seen it, but I'm not going to elaborate on it because then we'll get back into the conversation from earlier. But you can't talk about well, hey girl, what's up, baby? Like, I've seen it, but I'm not gonna.
It happens. It certainly happens, but yeah.
It's normal. Oh, look at that twisted tragedy! Just jumping.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so sorry. We're not boomers, you know. We're like the elder millennial generation here, almost Gen X, you know, level.
Normally old men. It always is. Yeah, it's old men. That's old creepy ass men, and I think they're being like nice and considerate. You should smile, but they don't realize that they're being dumbasses.
Yeah. I see you, Cody, in the chat. Go fuck yourself. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild as hell. What happens? You talking about catcalling in general, Carrie? Oh, I see it.
No. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, right? It definitely does happen. Yeah. But what I'm saying is they spin up like it happening once or twice to like everybody doing it and regular guys doing it, and guys who are just out there like normal average guys out there trying to meet women are not doing catcalling. They're being told like, hey, you need to be ultra polite, you need to respect her, you know, blah blah blah. Like the advice they're giving and other stuff that it's not the same. They're not being told to go out there and catcall. No one's telling them to catcall. Yeah. I've never heard anybody, even people who are dating coaches and other stuff like that, they would never say go out there and catcall someone. I've never heard that as advice.
Yeah, I don't. I guess it depends on the group of people. I've heard it before, but it was like the worst kind of people possible doing it. It wasn't a normal guy. It was like the worst fucking people possible, and it seemed almost like murdery. Like if you walked over to them and actually entertained it, like they would kill you or something. It's pretty scary, to be honest. By the way, something else that's scary. We're 190 likes away from 1,000 likes, and we're 403 away from Fight Milk. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like the damn show. Get the hell on it, doggone it. If we hit the Fight Milk, me and Andrew will be fighting it, milking up, and of course I'll get naked as well, as per usual, and put my bandana on like per usual. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, dude. This Rekieta says I've given catcalled by women. Well, that doesn't matter. Women don't give a fuck about that.
No, and men don't give a shit about that. If men get catcalled, don't say, "Hey, nice ass," and be like, "Yeah," like I'd be like, "Yeah, my working out, my squats are paying off." Like if we would not take that in the same way at all.
It's because women are, what is the word? It's women are, it's kind of like a place of privilege, not the catcalling, but the compliments. Women get compliments every day. Men get them once a year, maybe once every 10 years. So men kind of don't mind them. They also prefer them. So when I wear tight shirts out, so I look like a goofy cartoon character. Like I have a tight waist and a huge upper body. Like I look ridiculous. And when I walk,
you're like all shoulders, no leg day. Like does not know what leg day is. Period. So, which, by the way, it works. I'm just saying it works.
It does. So I'll be walking. I'll be going down this place called Bridge Street. I'll be walking down through a parking lot where cars are, and women will honk their horns at me and be like, "Woo, woo!" Like and that happens like once a week to me, and I don't give a fuck. The issue is men now, and I understand this issue that women have. Men are strong. And
so we can fight it off, right? So right. Yeah. So in that there's a dynamic that we will never be used to, which I'm very sympathetic to, which is that we are physically stronger, right? But that's something that society doesn't talk about anymore. If we just admit, okay, men are physically stronger than women, right? Let's admit that. They don't want to admit that. So you got to admit that first, right? So let's admit that men are physically stronger. Therefore, we can easily overpower almost any woman, unless you're Gina Carano, you're a trained fighter, right? And even then, there's top tier men that can overpower Gina Carano. So typically, men have a physical advantage over women, and we never have to worry about physical threats and sexual threats in that way that they do. Understand that. That's an intrinsic thing that we will never understand as men. 100% agree with that.
You know what that goes into too? It goes into self-preservation, and a lot of women are not taught this because they watch media, right? So women will go to these dangerous places thinking that if a guy gets in their face, they can just punch him, and they're like, "Oh, I can take down any guy I need to." And it's like, no, you can't.
They can punch them, or they can yell for help, and there's going to be an army of people coming to help them.
Yeah,
and they really get in this problem abroad because they try to pull the woke white woman thing abroad, and they notice it doesn't work, and they get into big trouble. That's when they really actually get in trouble, is when they go somewhere and people are like, "We're not buying it." Like, this shit you're trying to pull here, we don't do that here. So you're going to need to just go. And that's the first time they get blown out. And that's why a lot of times they don't last very long. When I say, why don't women last very long abroad? Because they don't have these advantages that they have in the West and Western countries that give them a lot of legal advantages.
Yeah, that's the thing is, a lot of women will go out and they'll get in these situations and they'll slap or punch at a guy, and they've never been in this situation where, things are changing rapidly. If somebody slaps a guy, most guys are going to deck a woman now because it's like we're over it. And
well, that's equality, right? If you want true equality, if a woman closed fist punches a man in the face, equal rights get equal lefts, baby. That's all I'm saying. Equal rights, equal lefts. I mean, you're coming at me, you're throwing a punch to my face, and you expect me just to take it and say, "Please, ma'am, can you give me some more?" At that point, it's mutual combat, right? You're in a situation where you're just fighting, right? Now, of course, that's not the way the law works. The law is going to say, "Well, you're the bigger and stronger one because you're a man and you're physically stronger." Even if the woman is 6 feet tall and jacked and you're 5'2", you say, "Well, you're a man, so we're gonna interpret you as stronger and the aggressor, even though she punched you in the face. We're gonna haul you away. And by the way, did you own guns? We have these things called red flag laws. So now we're gonna take all those and never have to give them back. Your Second Amendment rights are gone forever. Congratulations. Have a nice day."
Yeah. The issue with it is women punch, like if you get science around it, women punch like 150 pounds per square inch, and men that are trained or have muscle on them punch like almost 700 to 1,000 pounds per square inch, right? So, for example, if I go to the gym, I go to the gym every day, and there's like 30 women there and probably about 60 men at my gym every day, except for when Thursday hits, the women do not come in anymore until Monday. But there'll be women that are jacked. They're real toned. They're big. They got big shoulders. They're looking great, and they can only bench 10s on flat bench. And this is 65 pounds, by the way. And they look like they're strong women, and they can only bench 65 pounds. Maybe every once in a while I'll see a woman benching 100, right? I can bench 405, and I'm a normal ass dude. I have a lot of good genetics for my chest. I can bench 405. And people don't understand that a woman would have to if there was a situation where she was abroad and she ran into a Cody that's evil, like I can hold down a woman with my arms, and
well,
that woman can bench 400 pounds. She's not getting me off.
I don't know if you've, well, she may get you off, but not in that way. Hey-o, I got you, brother. I got you. Boy, we got him here, guys. Smash a like button. Thanks for everybody coming out and showing support today. It's been fucking awesome. Casey, I'm laughing my ass off. 4 bodyguards, by bodyguards. I get the It's Always Sunny references, man.
Yeah,
I fucking love it.
Thank you so much, Casey. It's the third red boy of the stream, getting us 304. 304 until Fight Milk. Thank you so much, Casey. We're closing in slowly but surely. Thank you, Casey. I love you, baby. You're sexy as hell with your beautiful face. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Another huge ass drop. Thank you. I appreciate that, dude. So yeah so man. Don't if I was it could give any advice to women, don't swing on a man anywhere, especially if you don't know the guy. Just don't swing on him.
And that's why by the way, that's why female cops fire their guns at way higher rates than men, because they know that they're going to get overpowered. And if you saw that video, it's like Norway or something, where it's like 6 female cops versus 1 drunk old homeless guy. 6 female cops could not pin this guy down. 6 of them. 6. It's insane.
It's like, people don't understand. A 13-year-old boy weighs more than 120 pounds. Like, and women weigh like 105 if they're, small for all women. They weigh 105, 110 pounds. Like, there's a reason why the 14-year-old soccer team boys destroyed the women's U.S. team. There's a reason. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And why they can do it on the regular. Why Serena, I think Serena Williams said it. Like, she's like, I'll get destroyed. She's like one of the number 1 women's players. She's like the 300th, like the rank 300th men's player will wreck all of the top women's players. It's not even close in terms of power, speed, everything else. Not even in the same competition. They won't for the most Olympic sports like sprinting, everything else. Women would not even qualify. The top woman will not even qualify for the preliminary rounds of the men's competition. It's not close. It's not up for debate. This is a fact.
Yeah, and it's not the issue here is it comes full circle back to then we have men that transition, and now they're in sports and just nuking every woman, just winning their 6th title in a row, and I'm like, oh, I'm shocked. And they're breaking every record every time they set on the freaking quarter field, and it just something doesn't seem right about it. Now, I will say this, in all fairness, I will say this that I do kind of enjoy watching it.
Oh no, I love it. I love it because it's a lesson, right? Because it's like
100%.
And the funny thing is, at an intrinsic level, you are cheering for a man beating a chromosomal man beating the shit out of a chromosomal woman. Like, this is what we're cheering for in 2023. Is that not demented? Right? Is that not what we're supposed to stop? But hey, y'all wanted it. Welcome to Clown World. Grab your hats, boys. We're in for a hell of a rodeo.
Yeah, and I think, depending on what happens in the future, if it becomes more accepted, we're going to run into situations where trans women are going to end up killing like women in certain combat situations.
If you combat sport MMA, I mean, you're going to be crumpling people's faces. They're going to have to stop it. They'll have to stop it because they're going to say they just have to shut it down. It's like football, right? They want to shut it down because it's too aggressive, whatever else. Yeah. Right. Eventually they're just going to say, okay, we can't do that anymore. Now we're going to do, pillow fight competitions.
They're literally if in like heavyweight boxing, if they allowed a trans woman to compete with women, you could end up with somebody dying. Like that woman may be killed. Like people don't understand how hard these people, it's like getting hit by a freaking car. And you may end up with some deaths, and that will maybe actually fix it because they'll have to take a stand. They're like, well, we got to change this now because people are dying left and right, and people are going to not be fighting. They're going to pull out of fights and shit. So I don't know how you. Great point. By not sure, by the way, it says Woman of the Year and Miss Universe were both biological males.
Yep. And it's now owned by the association is owned by a trans woman, a trans Thai woman. But of course, I will say, the funny thing is, going to Thailand, and I've spent a lot of time there, their relationship, a lot of people try to project, especially woke white women, try to say, oh, these other cultures have done this forever. But they do it in a different way. Because here's the thing. When you go to Thailand, yes, it's part of the culture. Yes, you're not allowed to like actively discriminate against them or, target them. But you ask a Thai woman, and you say, oh yeah, lady boys, are they women? They'll go, no, of course not. They're lady boys. They're not women, right? None of them will say, none of these cultures that the woke left will point to, they acknowledge it's different. It's just a guy pretending to be a girl, but they're still chromosomally fundamentally a man. Like that's still a man. It's something different, right? It's a lady boy. It's not a woman, right? They know that specifically. Yeah. They're just okay with it. They just say, okay, they can do whatever they want, right? Which I can identify with that. It's a very libertarian approach. They can do whatever 100%. They want, you know, which is fine. And by the way, I believe that if you're an adult, you can do it. The problem is, brother, is that the in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they're coming for the kids. And that's the fucked up part. Dude, that's the line. That's the line.
I say it every single stream, every single show. I'm like, look, dude, I'm a laid back dude. I keep to myself. You know, I don't care what people do within reason as long as they're 18 or older. Okay, we got to have a hard line somewhere. But that being said, once you bring kids into it, I'm like, I don't like this anymore. Because it's no longer about the children. It's about the people that are wanting to be in control. And that's where I put issue with it, is when they bring children into it. So that's where
and that's the line. That's the line. I mean, it's the bathrooms, everything else. And I think that's the line, by the way, where they lose politically. I think that's where they're losing clout, because even Democrats have kids, right? And even those people they think that are voting for them, they still, some of them have kids. You know, it's kind of interesting too, because this whole push to have, kind of people check out and have no kids is going to demographically end up problematic in the future for them. But because like conservatives are the only ones having kids, so like there's some issues there.
There's mental gymnastics there too, because there are people that keep in mind it's a football game for a lot of people, so they have to defend it. And there are still people out there that are trying to defend. They're like, well, technically, hormones are reversible, and I'm like, no, they're not. It's like double vasectomies are not reversible. Sex change operations are not reversible, and hormones are not reversible, because what they don't tell you is people that get on hormones, like men that get on hormones when they're in their adolescence, dude, they can never get erections. They have micro penises, and like these are things that happened. Like it doesn't.
You have to be cognizant of that. And even like where the guy asked earlier about TRT, right? There are negative consequences to taking TRT.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are negatives. So you do not want to go on it unless you need it, right? Because once you have it artificially injected in your body's natural facilities that produce it are like, oh, we're getting what we need externally, right? So we don't need to produce it internally. So that's going to shut off, which is going to have effects to you physically, hormonally. So you need to be conscious whenever you're putting anything in your body, right? It's going to have an effect.
But
right?
But the crazy thing is, people will try to convince you. They're like, oh, well, you can just actually go through puberty at 25 if you want to. And it's like, no, you don't. It doesn't work like that. You will never have sex. You will never, like, you can't get erections. Like, there's things that happen that are not reversible. You can, like, but they'll tell you it is, just to push just to defend their side. And it's like, no, like, and like, it's frustrating. Just don't bring kids into it. If you're 18, go for it. Do whatever you want. I will never judge you for it. I don't give a fuck. But
do whatever you want. It's your life. You're 18 years old. You're a legal adult. Go crazy. Just understand, by the way, that once you do some things, you can't go back, right? Like, if you have that operation, you got the snip, snick, tuck, tuck. First of all, check the mortality rate on those. There is a massive mortality rate on those that is unacceptable in most areas of surgical practice.
Yep.
But yeah, no, just make sure you're making a conscious decision, but it's your power to make the decision. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You can be lofty, right? Someone said lofty still has, that's right. You can be lofty. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, poor lofty. What's up, legal by Zayden, dude? Yeah.
Man in Busan down there.
Yeah, dude, it's getting pretty crazy, but hopefully it just stops. It stops at adults. We don't have to worry about it, because you can't get
I've also heard that like the T's can't get, people in my local chat saying the T's can't get a gasm, like they can't gasm.
Well, some of them can't. Yeah, so it depends.
Yeah, some of them can't. Yeah,
it
and
depends.
some people can't naturally, like they just have trouble in general. It's psychological, whatever else.
There's negative side effects here and there. But yeah, it's wild, man. And people will be like, oh, well, you can just, if you get a double mastectomy, if you change your mind, you can just get boob implants. I'm like, no, like you're getting a plastic surgery operation to fix something that a doctor prescribed at 13. And also, by the way, there was a doctor interviewed. I don't remember where they were interviewed. It might have been in front of some kind of legal committee. I don't remember. I saw the video, but they asked, like, how do they recommend, what does it take for them to recommend a double mastectomy, sorry, for a 13-year-old girl? What does it take? And they were like, well, all it literally takes is that girl saying they feel like a boy. One session. There is nothing else. They're like, okay, well, we recommend this immediately. There is no other. You don't go on a Sachabal for a year. You don't get on meds. You don't do anything. It's the first thing that doctor recommended was a double mastectomy immediately. That's crazy.
That's the insane part. And the fact, by the way, this is how the insidious part is in the United States, is that it's worked its way into the professions. So the professions are now required to do ESG, they're required to do critical race theory, diversity training, all stuff. The legal field, by the way, the bar is already pushed that. They've said it's becoming mandatory law school training. You're going to have to take diversity, equity, inclusion classes, woke classes as part of your law school courses now. That's mandatory material, right? It's going to become mandatory for existing lawyers to do continuing legal credits and woke shit. And they're gonna ban you if you go against it. And they've done it for psychologists, they're doing it for doctors, lawyers. Everybody is going to be required to tell you this because they know that you trust the experts. And they've already got, by the way, for decades, they've had and owned the universities. And the one thing I'm really positive about is redneck, blue collar motherfuckers like yourself, like the truckers out there, those badass motherfuckers who are just doing their own thing, starting their own business. They're saying fuck college, and they're just working. And those guys are changing the world. The best thing that's happened is guys getting out of college and just going into a trade, doing what you're going to do. Unless you want to be something like an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, and you need that degree, you need it, and you're sure you want to do that thing, I would say, why are you going? Just start making money. Why are you going into debt? That's stupid. Go make money.
Yeah, the people in the chat are actually making a really, really great point too. They're saying that for some odd reason, like people predominantly on the left, like on Twitter mainly, because like I don't consider myself on either side, but people on the left will.
Well, it doesn't. Here's the thing, Camelot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But because of that, you're on the right.
Yeah, exactly. So, but people predominantly on the left will be like, well, they consider the fact that you don't want children to be transitioned or go on hormone therapy. The fact that you don't want children to do it means you don't want any trans people to exist at all. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I have no problem with these people. Like, dude, I'm not that way. Like, that's fine, but I don't care what they do as long as they're adults. And they conflate the two. It's like, dude, I just don't want children involved. It's so simple. Keep children out of it. Mm-hmm. And people in the chat are like, yeah, if I say even the words, I don't want children to be involved in this, until they're of age, people will be like, well, you're a bigot. It's like, no, I don't give a fuck about. Just let them make a conscious choice.
And that to me blows my mind. The whole DeSantis bill was literally fighting the one that they tried to say it's parental rights and education bill, but they called it the Don't Say Gay bill. It's really the anti-grooming bill because it was all focused on children, very small children, 3rd grade and down, right? Why do you need to be talking to them about sex? We didn't even have sex ed when I was in school till 5th or 6th grade. Why are you talking to 3rd graders about transitioning their sex? This is a wildly inappropriate behavior, just in general. Just it's disgusting. It's absolutely abhorrent, and it's there. It's in the documents. It's in the materials. It's something that they'll say, "Oh no, that's not happening. That's not real." No, it's real. And I think for even people in our generation, because it didn't happen to us, we think it's not happening now, but it absolutely is happening now.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely insane. And like you said, dude, people, it used to be 6 months ago when you brought these points up, because keep in mind.
Oh, I was talking about it 6 months ago, years ago. Yeah. And people said you were crazy. They would say you're nuts. This is never going to happen. And it's all happened.
Yeah. If you brought up the fact 6 months ago to somebody, that they'll be like, oh, so you don't like trans people? It's like, no, I have no problem at all. Actually, I just don't want I don't want children being involved in surgeries and hormone treatments. And they'll be like, oh, well, that's not happening anyway. You're just conspiracy theorists. Now, it's so commonplace. And now they're moved the post. Now they're like, oh, well, you just hate bigots and you wanted to have a high suicide rate. And I'm like, what the fuck? No, just leave children alone. I was so stupid when I was a child. I was so stupid when I was a kid.
It's even worse than that, Camelot, because if you're out there as a straight white man, you're out there saying, okay, I want to go on Tinder and Bumble. I want to meet girls. I'm trying not to get married. I'm just trying to have sex. They're going to demonize you. They're going to say, oh, you're a groomer. You're targeting these people. You're horrible. You're toxic. You're this and that. They're going to make you into the enemy. They try to do that with, pretty much anybody who's out there living their own life, doing their own thing. Any guy who's out there, they'll make it into something disgusting that, for example, like Leo is going out with younger women, but at the same situation, older woman, younger man, they don't talk about that. Sugaring, they don't talk about that. Yeah. Right. They leave them alone. The sugar babies are strong queens, right? It's the guys that are wrong here.
Dude,
It's crazy.
I was 100% actually going to bring that up too. The fact that I've been called this too. So, when I was 29, 30, yeah, there was on a couple occasions where I hooked up with girls. They were always about 24 on average, but I hooked up with girls that were 21 when I was 30, like 29.
What's the problem with that? What's the problem with that?
People there was like women that are older, of course, like 30s, that were calling me like a pedo because I hooked up with a girl that was 21.
Well, guess what? Guess what? And I know people don't listen to this. It's like, yeah, there's been attractive girls that are 21 or 18, but there's also attractive girls, especially here in Asia. There's attractive women that are in their 40s. I've seen women that are in their 50s that are hot, right? You'll go to them and be like, damn, that woman is 50. She takes care of herself. She takes care of herself, does her skincare. White women, you got to watch that. That's your problem, white women. You don't do the skincare. Get on that shit. But yeah, no, there's women who look good at any age, but what's the difference? And they're consenting. This is modern America. They're not filing criminal charges. Look, I believe all crimes should be investigated, every single one of them. If there's somebody who actually did an SA, did an SH, prosecute it, 100%, those people need to be thrown in jail if they actually did it, right? Yeah. If they actually did it. Keyword right there. Factually, they need to be able to prove that. It's a strong accusation. It destroys people's careers.
Yeah, but it's wild how if an aging woman sees a younger woman with a successful man in his 30s or 40, they call that guy groomer or a pedo. And it's like, no, it's because we don't want to be with angry older women that are freaking crabby and are angry at the world. It's like, bruh, and also post-wall gross. Patrick T says,
well, it's just the emotional issues. Yeah, it's the emotional issues that get them. Yeah.
Patrick T says, if you want to correct the corruption issue in government, focus on term limits, will never happen. HR 25 eliminates the IRS. That's never going to happen. All this is a symptom of corruption. Yeah, I wish some of that would happen.
You're correct. You're correct. But Camelot is also correct. It's not going to happen. Getting rid of the income tax will get rid of so many issues. I hope this whole Trump thing ends up getting rid of the income tax, or us taking a look at getting rid of it, at least on a state level. I think if let's say the red states decided, hey, let's just get rid of the income tax as a block, and let's just go to sales tax, that'll start a movement. And I think that is doable. I think some of the more base states could say, fuck income tax, we're going to sales tax. It's a grift. It's something that is used against people politically. We need to stop that shit. It is something, tax laws are used to get people. How'd they get Al Capone? They didn't get him on the crimes, they got him on the taxes. It's bullshit. They really need to get rid of this because it's going to lead to political prosecution.
Yep. Dude, I completely agree. The term limits are never going to happen. The issue is,
why are they going to vote themselves out? You know what I mean? Like, why would they do that?
Yeah, they're not going to vote themselves out into poverty, because keep in mind that the more years they get to spend in office, the more years they get paid by lobbyists. I mean, you go in making 180 grand a year, you have a net worth of 200 grand, and you come out 20 years later worth $100 million. That's not pay. That's you're getting paid by lobbyists, and you're doing insider trading, and you're voting on laws based on whatever you have invested. So they're never going to vote for that, and they're never going to vote themselves into poverty. It's never going to happen. So, it's fun to say. I love thinking about it. I love thinking about term limits. I love thinking about all these things, because if you actually made politicians have term limits, they might actually focus on doing something better rather than making as much money as possible over a long period of time. They don't care about making a difference because they don't have an expiration date. They don't give a fuck. And that maybe then you'll get a couple of people that are focusing on their legacy rather than their wallet. And if you have infinity time, you can always put the legacy off until later, until you're 80, and then you don't know where you're at. Patrick G says, just start talking about term limits and HR 25. You have influence, you donkeys. Patrick, damn it, I'm doing it right now for you.
We're doing it. We've been doing it. And I've talked about this all the time. I've talked about term limits, and that would be a great solution. Absolutely agree with you. We have influence. We're influencing you guys, but we have to go out there. That has to transform into votes. That's transforming people with political power, taking political power at a local level, state level, federal level. Unless we do that, it's not going to happen. Right. Yep. So that's actually got to happen. So we'll talk about it. I talk about it all the time, but you got to actually do it, and y'all got to actually go out there and get your shit together.
Yep. With that pink boy right there, it brings us only 250 till 5 milk. Thank you, Patrick. I love you. The other pink boy has shown up. It was Shanny a bunch, and then it's Patrick T joining. 2 pinks away from the pink ass knot, 2 reds away from the red ass knot, and we already hit the orange ass knot. And I think we're right at the gold now too. We are 2 away from gold. We're right on the cusp of the whole trifecta rainbow night, double rainbow death edition night. How about no more ex-conservative terms, as many terms as they want, but eventually have to take a term off? Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. Sonic says the IRS will never go away. They have leverage on literally every politician. The same reason the FBI will never go away. Yep, and it sucks because the FBI seems to be only focusing on like one branch, and it's freaking weird. Or well, one party, not branch, rather. So it's pretty wild to watch. It's all very wild to watch, and we all hope it would change for the better. Dude, when I heard about
for sure. I want it to change. I want it to be better, but I'm a realist, right? And I think at a certain point you become a realist and you're like, this is realistically the scope of what we can affect, and this is realistically the changes we can expect. I don't expect everything to change overnight. That's the Kool-Aid, right?
Need an age limit. That's for damn sure. Thank you, Patrick T. I got my stuff together. Join the club. It is a pink ass night. Get the hell on it, doggone it, Patrick T. You're goated as hell. Shanny, Patrick, all of them coming in strong. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys are goated as hell. We hit that pink ass night. I had to play a little bit of that Doom for nostalgia purposes.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you so much, Patrick. You're goated as hell. That puts us only 200 away. Look at that. 200 away.
Get there. 200. You guys got that. You guys can get that.
It's starting to roll like a damn snowball.
Nice.
But yeah, dude, this has been a great
like the stream, guys, by the way. Like the fucking stream.
Yeah.
Make sure you go over there, get those likes up. I'm gonna pull the Kevin Samuels. Let's get those likes up. All right, P. Kevin.
Bitches, get the likes up. Especially
get them up. Get them up. Also, come over and maybe toss a sub my way. I'd appreciate it. It's my little grift as part of this.
Yeah, dude, we gotta get you to
throw a sub there. Throw a sub there. My brother who wants to learn about the language visa, make sure you're subbed up to my new channel because, like I said, that one's dropping soon.
Dude, all it takes is one month where you tear. You just hit a tear, like the algorithm for some odd reasons. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Here you go, and you're at the 100K. That was, dude. It was.
It's just a matter of time.
You know what's frustrating too? Okay, so I hit 98K and it stopped for 2 months. And I was like, this is some bullshit. And of course, right when February 2020 hit, I finally hit that 100K number. Finally. And I was so scared it was going to like reverse and I would lose it. But of course, I got my plaque and I was like, yay. And I hit the 100K and then I think I hit 102 and the algorithm picked up my friend's video I released a month later and I went to like 160 in like 3 months. And
yeah, like, once you're over that hump, it's just like floodgates are open, right? You're there. They vetted you. They know you're going to be around. You're not going anywhere. So
Alexander Eastmont. Actually, consider, dude. So speaking of this, not related to your message here, but there's a song by one of my favorite bands, Cattle Decapitation, and it's called Forced Gender Reassignment Surgery. Forced. It's hilarious. Oh my god, man. It's like, oh my god, I love this dude's name. Look at it, Slobber Pocket.
Oh, nice.
I hope it's because of me. I'm sure it is. I hope it is. 90 likes away. Look at these bitches getting on it, doggone it. So what do you got planned for the future, Andrew?
I've got shit at this point. I'm gonna go in on like my short term. I got some videos dropping. I'll be dropping on Legal Eagle. I'm gonna go in on him. He had some really bad legal takes recently on a couple cases. So I'm gonna come at that guy. He's like also 5'2", so there's that. So I'll just dunk on him, which is going to be pretty easy. So that's coming up pretty soon. We're going to see about different cases coming down. Obviously, I follow a lot of the thought crimes. So stuff like Courtney Clenny, back in the Amber Heard days. So I am the thought crime specialist. So when that one drops, I'll be down on that one. Obviously, I have a regular rotation, some off-topic stuff. I don't know if have I had you on for Pimpcast?
No.
Okay, I got to get you on for Pimpcast. Usually that's just me talking about just dating issues going on there, funny stuff, reactions, non-legal topic stuff. So I got that every other week. I think I'll have one coming up this next week. So we may see if we can coordinate with you.
Dude, Courtney Clinton stabbed her boyfriend, right?
Yeah, and the boyfriend was like, simping so hard he was apologizing after, she stabbed him. It was just bad, but she had a horrible history. She broke Mr. Olympia's nose, allegedly. She was targeting according to her friends, she would target wealthy black dudes because she knew that was the type that was like into her and she could manipulate them. And she was really shitty. She would throw his stuff out and then buy him new designer stuff and say, oh, it's okay. My behavior of throwing the stuff out. Literally, they lived in a high rise in Miami. Throwing stuff over the balcony is okay because I bought him new stuff.
God, she's wild.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to her. I just can't wait to see her.
Crazy. Also, I want to show something. So, everybody always says like LawTube, and LawTube is something that is that is like an anime. I'm posting it in the. Actually, I'll just share my screen with you here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I made a comic. Well, I'm like helping with the writing and directing and stuff like that, but I'm obviously not an artist. I'm horrible. It's called Adjudicators Academy on Indiegogo. I'll post the link in the private chat. But if you guys want to check this out, it's now on demand. It's fully back, so it's going to be shipped, right? Like it is 100% going to be shipped, only digital. This is pretty much all your favorite people, maybe from Law to maybe, you know, there might be certain characters that are similar to Mr. Rekieta, right? And maybe or maybe not have certain quotes that belong to Mr. Rekieta, right? You know, just saying. So everybody Rule 34, parody version, kind of going through the arc of LawTube. It's going to get into situations like Rittenhouse, like Johnny Depp, like stuff like that, through the vice of that Naughty Wizard game, that Naughty Wizard content, Harry Potter. It's called Adjudicators Academy. 6 chapters of the manga have already been funded. But if people want to go over here and check that out on Indiegogo, feel free to check that out. It's a great project. It's going to happen, and it's going to be delivered in May. Fully digital, because I want to get as many pages out to you guys, as much content as possible. So check that out. Awesome project. And I'm really excited that it's fully shipped and ready to go, but it's now on demand, so people can get it.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I posted a link in the chat for it. Make sure you guys check that out. God, I hope there's a Nick character, just a giant.
Oh, there is. The main character is essentially a Nick. It's called, I named her Nozomi Hodder. Get it. All right. Yeah. It's gonna be great. Yeah. And I'm already working on some other alternative content. There's gonna be the swimsuit models. There's gonna be the beach episode in the anime. That's all happening now. That's all been funded. So I can now say officially it's happening. So get over there and get that, guys. Adjudicators Academy.
Jesus. Speaking of that, or speaking of a female Nick Reketas, I wanted to talk about dating just a hair, because
let's do it.
We were just having such good discussions that I kept forgetting to talk about it.
And that's the best way to go. That's how I love it, dude. I just love to have a good conversation and just talk about it. That's the best way, man.
Yeah. So, when it comes to overseas, is it like a dating app thing? Is it the same thing?
Obviously, what depends on, you know, not all Asia is the same, and you know, there's some things that are the same, like. But generally, in most countries, dating apps still work, right?
Yeah.
I will say this, though. Mind you, that in many countries, particularly in Asia, if you are going on dating apps, particularly more niche dating apps, like let's say Hinge or Bumble or Coffee Meets Bagel, you're going to find very Western foreign girls. So the girls that are speaking English, they're very Western. And maybe you like that because they can get along with you better. You'll have some more connections, right? They'll still be obviously foreign, but they'll be of, like, you know, people who are interested in meeting Western guys, probably have dated Western guys before, so they're pretty used to it, right? They're looking for it. Now, Tinder is a different thing. Tinder by itself needs to be mentioned in a special category, because people around the world know Tinder. And Tinder, there are some people that they really are trying to meet other local people. So let's say I'm in Korea, there's people on Tinder that just want to meet other Koreans. They don't want to meet Western guys. So Tinder is big enough, and they've done a lot of marketing. They're like McDonald's, right? They're the McDonald's of dating apps. During the pandemic, dating apps exploded. Pre-pandemic, they weren't as big of a thing. The biggest 2 ways in Korea beforehand, I would say, for example, using Korea as an example, because I live here and I know Korea dating culture pretty well now. You would either get introduced by friends or coworkers or family, and that's what they call a blind date. So a blind date, it's not totally blind, because your family and friends know them and they actually show you pictures. So it's not a blind date, but they call it a blind date. So that's actually one of the most popular ways to date pre-pandemic. And then the other way was something called a hunting bar. So a hunting bar is where it is socially acceptable to talk to other people and to mix your tables together and talk to girls, because social acceptance and social acceptability is very important. So a lot of places it's socially inappropriate. Even at regular bars, it's socially inappropriate. So they'll wait for these hunting bars. They'll go to the hunting bars. But during Corona, that wasn't really possible. So app dating really trended. It's really gone up. So you can get on Tinder and Bumble, and you can find plenty of girls, whether you're in Bangkok, Seoul, Japan, wherever you are, you're going to be able to find people. It's not a problem. I have guys that I know all over Asia, and I've done it when I'm in Latin America, Europe. It's never been a problem. Australia, Australia. I love Australia.
How are the women different? Like versus Western women, how are they
different? Depends on which country, right? Because they're going to be different country by country. You can't make a general assumption. And that's one of the things people say, oh, Asian women are this. Chinese women versus Japanese women and Korean women. You think they're very similar. Crazy differences.
Right.
Insane differences, both in terms of how they act to you, emotionality, femininity, their demands, whether they talk to you, whether they don't talk to you, how do they view the relationship, what's the hierarchy, how do they view men, what's men's role. But generally, though, all that woke shit you get in terms of the issues that you might hit in the US, you're not hitting that as often. You hit it sometimes, it's not there. But for example, the first time I ever had somebody like cut food for me or like pour a drink for me, right? Like just pouring a drink, something as simple as that. Like there's water on the table and they pour a drink. And I'm like, that's something they would never, ever, ever do. It's never happened 0 times in America have I ever had that happen. And it's just a little thing. It's a little gesture, right? But it matters so much. And just the other thing too is by the relationship of men. Most people have fathers, have positive male figures. They don't view men as negative. And that's the number one difference that I think is great.
Yeah, dude. Like, man, I've had 1 or 2 girls from Tinder going like hard as hell that like came over to my house and like made me drinks and made me like food and like then like just like gave it to me and like laid like kind of next to me on me and was like eating food with me. I'm like, this girl's cool. And then of course they moved somewhere to Oklahoma and I'm like, oh great. Well, they always move somewhere and they disappeared. I'm like, damn, son, sucks.
Yep,
they're gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it depends on what you want. If you want to date, you got to enter it very intentionally. Even in the US, right? You have to know what you want and you have to plan very strategically to get what you want, right? If you just want to smash, yeah, you can smash, right? If you want to have a casual relationship, you can do that. You want to have a serious girlfriend, you can definitely do that. And you want to get married, you can do that. Now, understand, if you want to get married and have kids, there are very specific expectations. That's where the real difficulty is going to come in. I think if you're a person who wants to get married and have kids, that's where the pushback is going to be.
Yeah, and is it the same pretentious nature where you have women that are very average, thinking they should get like a millionaire, like beautiful man that's
because they're not average,
right?
I mean, look at them compared to the land whale, right? I mean, we were just talking about the Japanese that they considered fat, right? It's by the way, have you seen this video? This is hilarious. Somebody sent me this during the stream. This is Asian stores for fat girls, for plus sizes.
Oh my god, here we go.
Let me show you this real quick.
Asian plus size stores be like BB fat girls, fatty fat girl, love calories,
fatty fat girl,
high fat cat.
Oh my,
isn't that great?
God. I love the fatty fat. That's just like just fucking own it. Fucking own it. They make fun of themselves. They become comedians. They have good personality. Like, just fucking own that you are fatty McFat fat. It's fucking great. Oh God, they need to name one. Go to the gym.
Oh yeah,
says go to the gym. Going to the gym. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the gym. No, you're not, you bland whale bitch. Oh my God, I love it.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, if look, unless you're into it, which by the way, if you're into big girls, that's your thing. No judgment.
Yeah.
All big girls need love too, I guess. But like if that's a thing for you, you're just like, oh, the average girl does not have an obese BMI. And to me, that's a positive thing. To me, that greatly increases the value. So you can walk down the street and see many girls that you would never see in America. They'd be very rare. And if they were, they'd be in high demand. They'd be incredibly entitled.
Well, yeah, it's 70% of Americans are overweight, right? So that's men and women. And
in America, you've seen the stats, right? So right now, there's a large group, the largest ever, of guys that are not getting laid, not dating, they're just single, whatever. But then there's a small segment that is smashing like never before. They're going crazy. It's like ancient Rome level, right? Yep. But the ancient Rome level is up here, and the girls are all messing with the ancient Rome level. So they associate all men with this sliver, right?
Yeah. The top 20%. Yep.
They don't even see the other people. They don't exist as men. They're just like a background automaton. They're like the stars at night, right? They just completely ignorant.
Well, that's where they get the statistic where the average woman finds 80% of men unattractive. That's where they get the statistic, because only 20% of men in America are sexually active. 20%. And it's mainly the upper echelon of men that are
It's the Chads and the Tyrones, right?
Yeah,
you know,
they have their shit
they're all those
together.
guys.
They're in shape. They own their own house. They have their shit together. You know, they're making money. So those men are smashing every single woman on the block. And they're not, and all these dudes, and it goes to.
And honestly, Camelot, to be completely real, you don't even have to be that fit. Like my thing is, dude, you're 80s fit, like 80s normal, right? Like 80s normal, dude. Look at 80s movies. Watch those 80s movies. Like the guys in the background, right? If you're just the guy in the background, like not the action hero, just the guy in the background who is average. Maybe you're just regular weight. You don't even have to lift if you want. Just diet, like control your calories a little bit. You're in the top 5% in terms of the US in terms of physicality. Like 80s average is fucking Chad. Like it's not, you do not need to be jacked. You don't need to be the Rock. You don't need to be that. It just average dude becomes crazy because you're not obese.
Well, it goes to a very, very important topic that I always hit real quick because I like to hear people's opinions on it. Because women, and Carrie kind of confirmed this for me when I was talking to her like a week or two ago about it. But women say all the time they like men with dad bods. This is what they say, right? They always
oh yeah, the dad bod. Yep.
Dad bod. Well, when men that are overweight are grossly overweight, when they hear that, they think, oh, she's talking about me. No, what she's actually talking about is Jason Momoa, but on the off season when he has
on the off season
and when he only has a 6-pack and not an 8-pack.
Right.
A dad bod is literally just a giant buff man that's not super cut. That's what a dad bod is. It's not an obese man.
Even no, I just think it's like an average guy. Like I said, an 80s average guy. Like I get away with it. I'll say that I get away with a lot. Like right now, I'm really slacking on working out. Like I'm gonna full confession right now. I need to get back in the gym. That's my thing for the summer. I got to make it like hot dude summer. It's got to happen. I've been eating great food. I've been traveling. I've been in Thailand, Japan. I've been fucking feasting like a god, right? Yeah. But I got to hit it. But even me, because I'm 6'6", and I'm still eating like a Asian diet in general, because it's not that the foods don't fatten you up like in America the same way.
Yeah.
It's still fine, right? Because I'm tall and whatever else. That's fine. That's still okay. The problem is when you jump the shark, and you've got the belly where you can't see your dick, right? It's like it's out of control. You're like that World of Warcraft episode with South Park. Mom, get the Doritos, get the Hot Pockets. You gotta cut it. That's not dad bod. That's obese. That's fat bastard.
If Zac Efron has a dad bod, what hope is there for the rest of us? Look at this. This is Zac Efron with his dad bod, by the way. He's fucking jacked.
They're calling that a dad bod.
This is what's considered a dad bod. Yes.
Look at the guy's traps.
Yeah.
That's not a dad bod. That's actually kind of jacked.
Yeah. That's what a dad bod is, but no one actually understands. Like women will tell you this. Ask a woman what a dad bod is, and women will be like, oh, well, like Jason Momoa. And I'm like, in this picture, and I'm like, he's fucking huge. And they're like, that's a dad bod. And I'm like, and all these men think they're talking about obese man. Oh, they're talking about me. I'm 320 pounds. That's me. I'm a dad bod. It's like, no, it's Hugh Jackman. It's not you. It just means they're not shredded. And men don't get this. Men will say that. They'll even argue with you.
What they say is they don't want the abs guy, because that guy, the guy who's like constantly in like competition mode or in Instagram, because there's a certain thing when like you look prettier than your girlfriend. There's this weird situation that goes on. It's kind of not, it jumps the shark, right? Yeah,
so
like when you are courting that attention, that's something they're not down with.
So if you look at the chat right now, you can see all the men in the chat saying that's not a dad bod. See, they don't get it. They still are. They are thinking what they think is a dad bod. That's not what women think. Listen and look at the women. Look at the women in the chat right now. Not a 6-pack, but in shape. Men will.
That's actually literally most guys when they're working out. Like most guys are never gonna get the 6-pack because they're not gonna do the cut that you need. The water restriction you need to do that. Like they're not gonna cut the things out of their diet day to day.
Yeah,
it fucking sucks. And when you look at what's actually necessary to be that shredded, it's a very restrictive diet, a very controlled diet. And frankly, I no, and that's why to me, I'm like, I'm never going to do that because it's not worth it to me. The cost benefit, like, why would I do that? To get laid? It's like I can get laid without having to make myself that unhappy, right? Yep. I like food. I like food a lot, right? I'm going out in here and finding delicious food every single day. I will never restrict my calories to that point where I'm going to be having a 6-pack like that. It's not going to happen. Period.
Yep. And
I'm okay with that too. I'll still get laid.
There's
So
nothing
be
wrong
okay.
with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But the issue is every woman I've ever talked to, and I've talked, dude, I ask women all the time, dude. Every time I come into a contact with another woman, I ask them this immediately. I'm like, what's a dad bod? And they'll be like, oh, and they'll pull up an example for me. And I'm like, exactly, I know that. But men, you can see men in the chat right now, they can't retain it. They won't even listen to what women, they're just like, no, fuck it. It's not a dad bod. I don't care. I have a dad bod. Because it's accountability. It's an accountability thing. No one wants to think that they are not what they thought. You know, oh, what? No, I'm great. I'm great. I don't need to work on myself at all. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And there's no shame in that, but you got to understand what women are saying. This is what women mean when they say that. They don't mean a 300-pound dude. That's not what they're saying. They're not saying that. Like,
no, they're not. That's they're not saying that's sexy. The fat man has never been sexy in all of human history, except for the fact, not sexy. They've represented in the Middle Ages, stuff like that, money, because you couldn't be fat unless you had money and power and et cetera, et cetera. But it never represented like physical prowess.
Yep. Exactly. 100%.
Now I'm with you on that, brother. I'm with you on that. Women don't understand what dad bod actually means and what they mean by it. 100% agree with that.
Yep. And so, I feel like I hear my dog wincing outside or something.
Is that is that your dog, or is that like?
Oh no, I think that's something in the stream. Then maybe.
Hold on. I think it might be on my side because I have a window open because I got some. And I don't have a dryer, so we have to actually like hang our stuff. So I have my my clothes right here drying, and I got the window open. So I think there's somebody outside doing some construction or some weird shit.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
No, you're good. But no, you can Google Leonardo DiCaprio dad bod, and he's just thin. He's not like in shape, like super in shape, but he's just in thin. He has nice.
But he is undisputably in the top 5%. I would argue in the top 0.0001%, because here's the thing, money, fitness, that's all great, but clout, like especially celebrity status, that's like nitrous oxide, right? That is just like explosive gas for your dating market, for your dating ability.
Zach said, I always thought of a dad body being a beer belly. Yep, it's not what it is. It's not, and that's
maybe a very small, right? But like definitely not
like
what you're thinking, like a beer belly, like a gut, you know.
There was the disgusting Daniel Craig dad bod. That was the one that was big for a while, and he just looks fucking great. Like he looks amazing. It's so crazy. Like here's let me find the dad bod version of Daniel Craig where he just looks great. He doesn't look bad at all. Let me see if I can find it. It's probably might be hard. God, I saw it was an article where they were shitting on him because he had a dad bod, and he just looks fantastic. Like, and Leonardo DiCaprio is the same way. They're like, he has a dad bod, and he still has a V cut, like just an extreme V cut all the way down his body. Chris Pratt's dad bod, he still has abs. Chris Pratt's dad bod still has abs. Like, you can Google it and just type in like celebrity dad bod, and they all just look amazing. But they just are not like 8% body fat. They're like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And
but even like I said, but even guys who are bigger, even guys who have that, you know, like I said, the difference we have is that's not our only criteria, and that's clearly not the only dating criteria. Women are not just looking for physical appearance. Like that is one on the list. It is not the only on the list.
There's 5 or 4, right? There's financial stability, social security, and there's obviously physical and attractive nature, and then there's going to be are they funny, good personality, can talk to. There's actually
personality.
There's too much actually. There's like 50. They got to be.
Well, I would say that you can break it down this way. Like there's money, right? So like money and everything that comes with that, right? Including status, everything else that comes with money, right? There's personality, right? Physicality.
Yep.
And depending on what their intent is, if it's a short term, not as big of a thing. If it's long term, you're going to want some sense of security and safety, right? Yep. Like, is this person going to take care of me? Are they going to provide for me? Are they not going to abandon me when I'm pregnant and, you know, vulnerable and leave me by the roadside? So like those things start coming in, right?
Yep.
Like there's all those other criteria that you're going to want. Physicality is not the only thing. Flip the other side. That's our primary category. It's like, okay, that's number 1. And then personality is number 2, right? Like number 1, and it's very important and vital in a way it's not on the other side, is smash yes or no. And if the answer is no, it's just a hard no, right? Like it's not going to pass. But I've seen girls that are like, at first I wasn't that attracted to him. But then as he started talking, as he did this and he did that, I got more attracted. What's up, X-Wing? I remember you, buddy. You were popping in the chat for a second. One of those folks. We got to hang out again. Let's talk. I'll come on your channel. You come on my channel. We'll talk Star Wars. We'll talk whatever, man. I'm always looking for good guests. Camelot, I got to get you on my channel. So dude. We can do it. We can do that Fight Milk live on my channel. I can get you into some soju. We can have a good time.
What the hell is soju?
Oh, soju. It's the Korean liquor. I've got the good one, but the cheap one comes in the green bottles. This is Hwayo. It's a good one. You can see it's almost empty because my chat makes me drink a lot. $100 per shot. They got me there. Got me to Fight Milk levels. Matt himself got me to Fight Milk levels today. But soju is a Korean alcohol, clear, consistent, kind of like vodka.
Billy Hatcher. So let me shout this out real quick. We are 195 until after X-Wing, 195 till Fight Milk, and we're 150 until the lot goal of 1,000 and 195 from Fight Milk. We got a few minutes left though, so we'll hang on for that. We're closing in. We're closing in on the end of the night.
Almost there.
Almost, dude. It's been a freaking great show. It didn't even feel like 3 hours, and we're about to hit.
Dude, man, when you're just talking, like we met in person, we've shot the shit like in real life. It's just easy, right? We're just having a conversation like I would have with you at a bar or anything else.
Yeah.
The only difference is I'd probably be, like showing you photos and texts and DMs and other stuff like that, and being like, look at this shit, right? Like, can you believe it? Like, let's compare, let's compare notes here, right? Because it's a wild world out there. I just would love to see I think a red pill for any guy is seeing a woman's Tinder, but I would love to see the Tinder matches.
Yeah, all right. I have females that I know that are friends, and they are average normal women, and they have like 938 matches, every one of them on Tinder. Like they're
just tired of it. They're like, I can't even go through it. They're like, it's overwhelming. It's too many. So I just give up. I don't even do it.
It depends on who you are as a man for some reason, but I always got up to about 300 matches, and I would delete my Tinder and recreate it because I kept getting like duplicates and shit. So I would recreate my Tinder, and that happened a lot. And but eventually I had to get out of it because it was just wasn't fun anymore. It was kind of almost like a job. At Wolfsbane, there are levels of physicality.
My brother.
You can go too far or not far enough, as well as know that physicality is sculpted. You can be cut and look bad. Well, you can if you're too cut, yeah, but that's almost impossible to get to. Like you have to be like a psycho or competing. Because I can die straight for 6 to 8 months, and I won't even get that cut. It's just it's.
My cutting versus like bulking, like there's like I see it in terms of my poundage, in terms of my body mass. Yeah. But like if you look, the difference isn't that crazy, right? Because the bigger difference is me working out versus not working out. That's the big fucking difference.
Yeah, I like after three, probably hold on, let me find it. So after like three or four really, really hard months of dieting, I can go from being like almost all bulk to around, if I can find it here, I have a picture. Yeah, I can go from like almost all entirely bulk to this right here. This was me last year at the end of my cut. Where is that? Right here at the end of my cut, which I'm not even super cut looking either. I'm just
but that's like the thinnest, because you see the big thing is the vascularity, the veins, right? That only happens when you're on a cut. Like it's not going to happen when you're bulking at all. Like,
or if you're just naturally inclined to it. I have friends that are always freaking veiny,
super vascular,
and they're also super skinny too. So it goes hand in hand with that as well. So yeah, it's freaking wild. Both bulking is just an excuse to gorge. It depends. I bulk during October, November, and December, and then I cut January, February, March, April, May. So depending on the months. I've been shitty this year. I dropped 28 pounds in the first 2 months, and now I'm like dying. I like fucked up my diet a little bit in Vegas, and it's kind of hard to catch back up on. But I've been doing pretty good today. The last 2 weeks I've been doing really solid. So I did cardio today, and I do high intense cardio, not normal cardio. I do high intense cardio for a short period of time.
Like a hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's what I used to do. When I was doing that cardio, I would just do hit like sprint intervals, right? Yep. I just go to track, do sprint intervals, and like that was my thing. I did at one point because I had a lot of friends who were doing marathons and half marathons when I was in Orlando. I used to run the Disney ones. That was before they were super woke. I just saw people who were just in horrible fucking shape, and they were running these marathons and doing good at running. They're skinny fat as hell. I'm like, this is not what I need to be doing. I need to be doing high intensity stuff. I need to be lifting heavy. I need to be doing that stuff because that's going to give me the body that looks better aesthetically, not running and doing cardio.
Yeah, I just lift as heavy. I lift heavy every freaking day. Every single day.
Do you do 5x5? What's your routine? Like, what's your?
I usually do 4x12 unless I'm
4x12.
If I flat bench or I squat, I do. I just keep going up into weight until I can almost not do it anymore. So
and you just stick to like big compound movements. You don't do as many oscillations, or you do a lot of isolations.
So when I'm doing flat bench, I'll do 225 for 20 reps, 315 for 12 reps, and then I'll get up to 385 for like 3 to 4 reps. And then I start going back down. As far as squats go, I'll do 135, 225. This is like 10 reps, and then 315 for like 6 to 8 reps. And then I start going back down again. I don't really like to go really heavy on squats because I just hate squats more than anything.
I fucking hate squats, and I'm so tall and awkward. They're fucking painful as hell. So yeah, that's my one weakness is squats.
Oh, gee, I'm not. I think my maximum squat ever was 405, and people make fun of me because my bench is 405 and my squat's 405. They're like, your squat should be 600. And I'm like, dude, I only weigh 190. Like I can't really do much more than this, man. It's hard. X-Wing.
What's up, brother?
Since I've spent the money, I'm lucky to have a traditional wife, but watching the absolute skew of nuclear family dinner roles has been a perfectly graphed coefficient for the degradation of society. Something just makes sense here. Thank you so much, X-Wing. I love you,
brother. It's true, and what you're saying is absolutely true. That's the biggest difference I see in Asia is the nuking of the traditional family in America versus people who have families and the value of it. There's a big value to it. There's negatives to overbearing parents. For sure, right?
Yeah.
But you need them on some level. You can't just completely erase it, right? So how about we overcorrected, right? We way overcorrected by nuking the nuclear family. And he also has said a good point. In America, the one thing right now is you are priced out of having a family because the cost is intense. It's about $1 million, I think, right now, if you're raising a kid and putting them through college.
Yep.
It's a lot in the United States for a kid.
Thank you so much, by the way, X-Wing. You're goated as hell. That puts us 145 away from Fight Milk with a few minutes left. It always is so clutch every damn stream. Thank you, X-Wing. I love you. I appreciate you. We're going to look at something real quick because Grifty just said that Brittany Venti's channel just got deleted.
No, did it? Her entire channel? What was it now?
Going to look right.
What did she do? What did she say about Eliza Blue?
Damn it, Brittany, what have you done?
And did she bring it on herself?
Oh no. It's not there, man. It is not there. Oh my God. Is it on? I bet she's talking about it on Twitter.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no way that
it's not there. It's not.
It got
there.
nuked?
Yeah, it's not there.
Uh-oh. What did she do?
It's completely gone, man. That means we gotta look at let's pull up Twitter real quick. Oh wait, no, well, Venti's she's not on Twitter. I guess we'll just look. I'm sure
she's still not on Twitter.
Yeah, she's not. But somebody's probably talking about it on Twitter. Let's pull this up.
So let's see what happened.
Latest. But I probably shouldn't put. I probably should put Brittany Venti and not Venti because everybody.
I just put Venti too, and then I came up with Genshin Impact.
It's just coffee everywhere. Here we go. Oh yeah, we're going to be tweeting about this. Yeah,
I'll get on it. I'm on it.
Yeah.
Locked out Twitter. Tyrant YouTube was nuked. Okay, why though?
Right here. Yeah.
Why though?
Has been locked out of her Twitter for 2 years. An entire YouTube channel with over 170 has been nuked. What? I mean, but what happened?
Yeah, there's no explanation right now. She's saying YouTube just nuked my account for making anti-predator content. I appealed the age restriction. Okay, so probably calling out people for their bad behavior. I know I didn't see the video, so I'm just gonna assume because I know Brittany's made a lot of videos about like the Twitch girls and the and all that and the predation and everything else. So I'm assuming it was something about either the alphabet community or about these Twitch thoughts
what
preying
probably
on
happened,
young men.
Now, this is just my thought process, but what probably may have happened is she was being anti-pedo, and somehow it picked up on it as being like she's promoting pedophilia, maybe because she's talking about the subject matter at all. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. Speaking of hard to say, Disco Cobra, last red boy of the night, not going too crazy. You already went too crazy.
yeah, You already overcharged. But no, listen, dude, you guys are fucking awesome. I love this community. You guys are fucking great.
Yeah, dude.
And all your super chats are fucking hilarious as hell.
Dude. I've been looking into setting up a decent hi-fi audio system. They're pretty pricey. Yeah, I had one. I bought a whole system for my theater room and then ended up not using it because my projector. I spent so much money on my projector. Think of how much of TV is, like a large giant TV. Think of how much they cost. A projector is about 5 times that. And I got one, and it has a built-in like surround sound thing, and it's so good that I was like, oh, I'm not even worried about it now. So I don't even worry about it. It is, and it's huge too. It's a really great projector. Disco Cobra, you're goated. That puts us 40 away from 5 milk. Look at this guy right here. 40 away. Damn. Thank you, you delicious bastard. You're goating. You're pulling us along.
And so everyone's trying to get me into. So right now we got baseline. No, it's not. So my locals has been bribing me. We got baseline fight milk. I'm gonna do regular vodka, 1 egg, and the milk. But if you want, some people want to call him for soju, and I said I will do soju. If you locals me or PayPal me, we got to get these rookie numbers up.
Soju. What is that?
Soju is the Korean version. The Korean version, right? I got enough in here. This is definitely enough to mix one.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
so you got
enough. That's the
come on, locals or PayPal me, and I'll do it. I'm almost there.
There it is. X-Wing says, "Fucking just do it. I want to see Legal squirm a little." The pink boy coming in strong.
Y'all got to understand too that we over here in Asia, raw eggs are actually fairly common. Like raw egg and rice is tamago gohan. That's one of the most popular Japanese breakfast, baby. So
look at them. We only needed one, and they all started clicking at the same time. We got Egg Swing, Steph LL. Look at her face, by the way. God, I'd love to splooge. I mean, I'd love to see her and roll off. That was a joke. Steph, don't arrest me. I was just kidding. I'd about splooging on you. Carrie Davidson, the beautiful, illustrious, talented Carrie Davidson, topping us off with 3 pinks in a row with Steph and X-Wing. We easily hit 5 milk boys.
And X-Wing asked, yes, I am in Korea. I'm in Seoul right now.
Yeah, so go ahead, and I gotta go get my eggs real quick.
Well, I gotta do that too. They're all in my fridge.
You go first then.
So okay, I'll go first. Now, hold on. I got the soju behind me. If I come back, I told my locals, $80 away from me upgrading from vodka to soju. So if you want that to happen, hit me in the locals, hit me in the PayPal. Otherwise, we'll just do the regular. All right, I'll be right back.
Thank you guys. So, God, look at this picture. Are you shitting me? What the fuck is that? All right, this picture is hilarious. Oh my God. We're gonna do some naked snake for you bitches right now. Okay, I'm going to do some naked snake just real quick, and then we're doing the 5 milk. So let's do it real quick. Can't raw eggs give you salmonella? I don't think so because I've eaten probably 6,000 of them in the last 4 years. So let's do some naked snake, and then we're going to do the 5 milk. Let's get on it. Doggone it. You guys ready? Here we go. Here we go, boys. You ready? Hope you guys are ready for this. It's time for naked snake, you bitches. I hope you guys are excited. 136, Billy Hatcher. Naked snakes in a row. Here we go, boys. You guys ready for this? Let's do this. It's time. Let's do this. My beard is so beardy. Here we go, boys.
What a thrill with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'm melting to you.
Look at
What a fear in my
Are you guys ready?
heart.
Let's wait for the loot. They're going to leave. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. In my time, there be nobody else. Oh, he's back.
Since your costume changed, I costume changed too here.
Oh my God. You gotta take your suit off for the milk.
Oh yeah, this is my Adam persona. If you don't know, it's the casual version.
Yeah,
and definitely the version that's ready to fight. That's always the thing.
Thank you guys so much. We made it again. Amazing stream with my boy Legal Mindset. It's been a lot of fun. My chest is real hairy. I apologize. You can't really tell, but it is. I need to shave it real bad. Looks like a bunch of ants on me. Little bitty ants. Guys, get ready for some milk here. I love you, Dana Mac, Monkey Man, Helena. Get the hell on it, doggone it. We're doing it. Not for what? Not for honor, but for you. Amazing. Look at that Rational Texans coming in, Sean. Show us again how you hit women.
we got to, by the way, we got to my goal in locals, so we're upgrading to soju in the fight milk.
Shit.
We're upgrading. We're having Korean fight milk. Get ready.
Korean fight milk. Hell yeah. Still in a dream, boys. Still in the stream. Get the hell on it, doggone it. I appreciate you guys. I agree, Rudy Tootie. 135 in a row. I'm still in a dream. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Appreciate you guys. Hell yeah. Appreciate you guys so much. Oh my God, Texans just putting cum shots all over my damn locals. All right.
Nice. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Now, I gotta go get my stuff. So we're gonna make Jana, I love you. Oh, look at this man. Look at this man coming in strong with the 10,000 fake money.
10,000 fake money. My open milk. Yeah. That's for the ultimate grift hot tub stream that we are gonna do. Legal Vices, me and you.
Dude,
we gotta be co-streaming that and make $1 billion. So that is for us in the Jim Juba. That is they gotta pay me money. I mean, I'm all for you making money, but we're shyster lawyers here, Vices. We can do better. But I am down for fight milk. That's happening right now. I'm gonna wait for you to. Well, actually, I'll mix it while you're going.
Yeah, make sure you keep the egg whole. Don't mix that bitch.
No. I'm not mixing it. It's a whole Korean egg whole. I'll do it right now. I'm horrible at breaking these things, but I'll do it right here in front of you guys.
There you go. Get that bitch in there. Awesome.
Yeah, whole egg. Look at that. No yolk, whole egg down in there on the bottom.
How beautiful he is.
Unmixed.
I'm going to get mine. We are 35 blocks away from the goal. Get the hell on it, doggone it. I'm going to go grab my eggs. Let's do this, bitch. And anything you want to shill, Andrew, I'm going to make you big and you can shill.
All right, let's do it. Let make me big, baby. All right, let's do it. Hey, we got the 10,000 one. You might be stuck with Legal Vices. Okay, you get rid of them. Yes, get rid of them. Guys, listen, the best thing you can do is like and subscribe Camelot's video, because if this gets big, we get big. It makes us all big, makes us all strong. And that's exactly what we want, because that's what fight milk does. It's 5 bodyguards, 4 bodyguards. I am not mixing this because mama did not raise no bitch. Now, well, here's the question. What should go in next? Should it be the soju or the milk? Because I feel like if the soju goes in last, it's a floater. It's a floater. So I think it's got to go in second. So let's milk before the alcohol. So people are saying milk, soju, then milk first. Locals says soju. They paid for that. Locals paid me. But you guys say milk. Okay, trust me as a mixologist. I'm going with the soju first. So let's go with this. We got right here in the mix here. Let's make this kind of hefty. I feel like we're going to need a... Oof, that's the bottle. Right there. We just dumped the bottle in there.
We're back.
All right. So my locals, we had a debate between your chat and my locals. My locals who paid for it, right? They paid for it. So they said soju first. So I went soju. So egg, soju, and now here comes the milk. 2% Korean milk. For those that know moon runes and can speak moon runes, you guys can translate that. It means daily milk.
All right, boys.
In Korean there.
Man, I'm so glad I bought eggs. Man, I have so many eggs.
I have like 12 eggs now, and I never use them. So I guess that's what's for breakfast tomorrow if I don't vomit today.
This is the glass I used for last fight milk, and it's so gross. Oh, I just
This
dropped
is
like
this is the Johnny Depp. Shout out to my boy Legal Vices. He got this for me. This is the Johnny Depp Mega Pint.
How many eggs we had, Aussie? We're at 2 right now.
Yeah, we're at 1. I'm at 1 right now. I think we're gonna stay with 1 to keep me survive here. The soju is gonna be rough enough.
Oh God. Next, who do I have next? I think I have Nina Infinity Saturday.
Oh, awesome! I fucking
Nina
love
Infinity.
Nina.
Yeah, I don't know what she's gonna do. I'm sure she knows about the fight milk, but I don't know. I'll ask her, but I don't know. I don't like asking.
What's the percentage? Stuff. What's the percentage of people that do it versus don't?
About 60% do it.
Oh, nice.
Gary did double fight milk with me, which was 4
double fight milk.
His glass is huge.
Bro, that is intense.
Nerdrotic. Yeah, he went hard. He went above and beyond, man.
That is intense.
All right, now we're gonna do Woodford Reserve.
Ooh, that classy. You're going real classy.
Yeah.
Do you always do whiskey or do you switch up? Because I feel like whiskey's more like eggnog, you know?
I've done whiskey, scotch, I've done everything. I've done rum, vodka, anything you can imagine, I've done it. All right, bitches, here we go. Shake that naked snake. Colonel, we got fight milk. Jeremy had hot dogs in this fight, but he did, Courtney. He did. He was wild.
He put a hot dog in the fight milk?
He put like a million little pieces of like chopped up freaking hot dog in his, and he was like choking. I'm like, what are you doing? You're gonna die. The thing I don't really care for with the Woodford Reserve is it like coagulates at the top. So it's got it looks like almost like a solid, and it's freaking weird.
That does look a little weird.
Before we do this, guys, we're 25 likes away from the goal. Get the hell on it, doggone it. We got to hit 1,000 before we log off this bitch. I do have a new video coming out tomorrow. Okay. That's fine. I have a new video coming out tomorrow. It's extremely spicy.
Ooh, yeah. What's
I'm
it about?
excited about it.
Can you tease us? Can you tease us? Give us a tip.
It is a lawsuit. And there's a lawsuit coming for somebody, and it's for somebody that unfortunately made something that is being sued for being too addictive. It's a class action lawsuit. So you'll see it tomorrow at around noon. Don't miss it. And then, oh my God, people are putting. I love it. In my locals, they post like titties, just women's titties. But they put my sad ass face over their nipples. It's just me all sad, and there's just over their nipples. God damn it! All right,
I'm telling my locals to stop slacking. We need more debauchery in the locals.
No, yeah, dude, I love the titties, man. Thank God for Rational Texans and some locals. Oh, by the way, if you guys don't know in the chat, we both have locals here. Make sure you can somebody type in maybe one of the mods.
I got it. I'll just copy it right here.
Yeah. Follow my locals in the chat. Click that link. It's $5 for a month or $50, and you get 2 months free for the whole year. I do custom streams on there exclusively. I do all this shit exclusively on there. I put progress pictures in there, pictures of my animals. I did a studio reveal of my entire studio. I'm going to do all my games, my race cars. I'm going to put my races on there exclusively, probably weeks before they come out on YouTube. And it's only $5. It helps me out a lot, like more than you know, baby. And don't forget, also my boy to the right of me also has one as well.
LegalMindset.locals.com. I go extreme, exclusive content there. Have a book club we do every week. Every time I'm traveling, I have something cool. I try to share it with you. All the exclusive stuff. Also, if you want to get real stripped down mindset, it's always on Locals, right? That's where I'm wearing the hoodie. I'm wearing the t-shirt. They got a little bit of the flex. Got the tattoos out. I think the people there have seen. They're the only one to see my new ink. Is Locals.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah. I got a lot I got to catch up with when it comes to ink. All right. We're going to do some fight milk, boys. We're 21 likes away. I need you guys to focus the fight milk like you're playing WoW, and you guys focus the tank. You focus the damn likes right now. Focus them. If you haven't hit it, close the chat, hit that like button, open the chat back up. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Hit it right now. We're doing fight milk for the bitches in the back. Hope you guys are excited. We're going to get on it. Daily Dysfunction said tattoos are hot. Well, thank you. I have a bunch of them. Got a bunch of them. I got one beside my penis too that no one knows about.
Oh, the penis one. Oh.
Yeah, it's cat dog.
Excellent. I've got the 3/4 sleeve comes up and around, and then one on the other shoulder.
Sweet. Yeah, dude. Why did I know? I don't know why I thought you just didn't have any tattoos.
No, well, because I'm a lawyer. Most people are like shocked, like, "Wait, you're a lawyer?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm a lawyer who has tattoos." And there's a reason why I very specifically got this length, right? Yeah. So that my sleeves can cover it and no one will see it at work. Very specific.
I'm a degenerate, so people expect me to have tattoos.
Yeah, it's expected. It's normal, right?
We did a stream like a year ago, and I've been slacking. Where if we hit the goal, I would get a tattoo of fat ass Jerry. So you remember Tom and Jerry? Like the show,
yeah.
Tom and Jerry. So there's a sexy picture of Jerry I have, and like Jerry's got fat ass like ass cheeks, and he's sexy. And I'm like, if we hit the goal, I'll get that. And then like we hit the goal, so it took like months for me to schedule it. And then I scheduled it, and then the guy that was supposed to do it had a stroke at he had a stroke at like he was 32 or 33, had a stroke. So obviously he's not doing tattoos anymore. And then I just haven't scheduled it again. I'm like, fuck, I need to do that. Because every time I even mention tattoos in the chat, one of these bitches pop up and go, "Where's Thick Jerry? I'll kill you." Which and now they're right. There should be Thick Jerry. 12 likes away. There's a 4K stream. What? God damn! I used to be famous. What happened?
Damn.
$4,000. Hold on. What the fuck? I made $4,000 a day. Jesus Christ.
Nice.
Damn. What happened? All right. What happened? No. It's been going freaking great. This show has been
it's
fun.
great, dude. I love it, dude. Happy to come on anytime or jump on any panels with you, man.
Yes,
I think there's very few people I can just talk with, and like you're one of those people.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a multi-show with a bunch of people, like maybe Gary, you, Nick, just a bunch of people bringing in. So we'll see what happens. That'd be a fun one. Just get it. But I don't like to get more than like 4 people. It's just there's too much.
No. It's too much. And there's a point at which, here's the thing: the drama and bullshit happens on the 9 people panels, the 8 people panels, the 6 people. If it's 4, everybody feels like they get a word in, like they get their percentage, they get to speak, and the drama doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I watch those streams a lot, but it's just being on them is hard for me because I'm like, man, I can't talk. I'm trying to find a way to talk, and it's like I can't. And then like, it's whatever it is. 4 locks away, and then I'm turning the music on, boys. 4 locks away before the fight milk happens. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Thanks again, real quick, to these beautiful bitches: Carrie Davison, beautiful woman; Steph LL, gorgeous woman; X-Wing, Disco Cobra, X-Wing again; Patrick T, Casey, Shani. Unbelievable support from these people. There's a pink and red boys all around. There's also people all over the damn place with the orange boys. Karis, Mr. Holy Ozone himself, Eric V, Old Malware. There's just tons of people in here. So I appreciate all the support from all these people and legal bosses. Let's get on it, doggone it. Here we go. It's time, boys. We're gonna drink some fight milk for you guys and then end the show. And we'll probably raid let me see if I can raid real quick. We got time. We got about 30 seconds before this music starts. Here we go. Who's we got on for doc today? I can do Runkle's on. Why do I not see Rekieta?
No, Rackets is sick. He was sick the other day, so I hope he feels better. But
Oh no, it says he's live with Top Ear.
Rackets is live?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go to Rackets.
Yeah, so I guess that's what we're gonna do is gonna go to Rackets. We're gonna raid my boy Rackets.
Rickety Rackets.
All right, boys. So here's what we do, Andrew. When this music starts ticking, here in about 10 seconds, we just down it in one go.
Okay. Oh, well, one go is definitely not going to happen with me, but I'll do it as fast as I can.
Do it as fast as you can. It's coming in about 6 seconds.
This is a big glass. This has got some volume on it.
Here we go.
Oh, rough, but I got it.
Oh my God.
Got it.
It's dripping on me and it's cold.
The mega pint. Shout out to Legal Vice. Actually, it worked pretty well.
Yeah. Ooh. Amazing, dude. God, it's gross.
Yeah. No, that was actually not as bad. I used to mix raw egg into my milkshakes when I was a kid.
Yeah, dude. Quarter black.
Raw egg does not faze me. The raw egg does not faze me. It was the soju that almost got me there.
Yeah. The raw eggs are actually fairly easy unless you have like 6 or 7 in there. Then it starts. They keep hitting, and you're like, fuck. fuck?
Yeah, that was single egg. You know, maybe we'll come on my stream. When you come on my stream, I'll try to double up. I'll do 2 eggs, 1 cup.
I'm
two
proud
eggs,
of
1
you.
cup.
I'm proud of you. You did great. Dude, awesome. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I appreciate you guys. We're gonna raid Mr. Rackets, and I want to thank Mr. Legal Mindset for coming on. Freaking awesome show, dude. We had 1,000.
Anytime, bro. A great guest, great conversation. I knew it was going to be good. Always love hanging with you, brother. Anytime.
Hell yeah. New video tomorrow, guys. Follow me on Locals in the chat. I'm going to post it one more again. I might be live directly after this on Locals. But every time I go live on Locals when Nick's streaming, no one comes. They're all like, oh, I'm going to go watch it, which I understand.
Yeah, I'm going to go do a little after party on mine. There's some stories I promised for my Locals. So any of my Locals people, I'll see you over there for a little bit. Just very short.
Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on Saturday with Nina and tomorrow in the video. And Friday we'll have a short and get the hell on it. They're going to love you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you to Disco Cobra. Thank you to X-Wing. And thank you to Shanny. And thank you to all these amazing people. Like, I know I'm missing a lot of them. Staff Carey, all you guys. You guys are goated. Get the hell on it. Doggone it. Say bye, Mr. Andrew.
And see y'all.